Now we know. Did Crispy upload Destiny footage?
Yes. All right, we should be live.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Bring up restream.
Well, then what? We just rock and roll, right?
Well, yeah. Hold on. I'm going to get the link for YouTube for the day. Add the little picture for flavor. And we fucking... So here's the thing. How many of these trailers you put in here are from Summer Game Fest? Because I want to have a lot of these conversations on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Well, a lot of them are trailers.
I mean, there were a lot of trailers from Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, I mean,
the big
there are
ones.
some lengthier demonstrations that aren't really here because those are too long. Everything here is mostly like 3 minutes.
I mean, it's fine. We can still have the conversations one way or the other. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if anything, we've learned that we can't really say much of anything during trailer talk because it goes by too fast.
Well, if you want to take the reins,
what we probably should have done is just a...
Well, didn't we say last week that you were going to start taking the reins?
Huh?
Of the actual trailer talk?
Well, maybe. No, I thought we were saying that maybe for like Key 3 that we would just do like a trailer talk all night or something, but I completely forgot about that.
Well, I definitely want to have these conversations on a podcast because, you know...
True.
It's news. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, what we gotta think about this for a second.
Do we though? Do we?
Like, I mean, we should still be conversating on things that are worth conversating about. Like what has a quick trailer?
We are wasting trailer talk time right now.
Yeah, we are.
Well, I'm not. I'm waiting on y'all.
We're ready. Let's fucking go.
Okay.
Let's watch some fucking trailers.
Let me share.
What's up, chat? Lo Cimento, Nightshader, Slow Ram, Blah Blee, Revixie. How we looking on?
Let them start
Stream
one
quality.
first, and then they can decide. Not loud enough, Chris Davis.
I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, but I can already tell the little volume sliders all the way down.
All right, we're kicking things off with the big guns.
Yeah, with the big one here.
Prince
Legend.
of
I watched
Persia:
the
Sands of
press
Time.
conference,
Fucking
I did
lift
watch,
dick ask announcement.
Well,
Here we
this was
go.
more of a
but
re-announcement.
here we go. Sands of Time footage. We've been waiting so long. Woo-hoo.
I mean,
Weird to-
let's be real here. This more or less says we went back to the drawing board, and now you have to wait until 2026, right? That's basically what this was. Like, hey, we didn't cancel it; it still exists.
We knew they went back to the drawing board. Though.
Well, I know. So this was just like, hey, reminder: don't forget, we're not canceling this. All right, we're going straight into Dragon Age, huh?
Yeah. Straight into Dragon Age. This is a. Do y'all have the extension so you can actually see the likes and dislikes on YouTube?
No.
I used to have it. I have no
Oh.
idea.
Wait, why not?
We need someone to be
Why
our
would I?
eyes and ears in the
So you could see the likes and dislikes on YouTube.
I don't care about that shit.
But how often do you use YouTube for, like, you know, how-to stuff? I feel like you gotta see likes and dislikes, otherwise you don't know if you're watching a shit video or not.
Well,
know?
if I'm looking for like let's talk about Dragon Age. We're already off topic here.
Oh, I was gonna say this has 38,000 thumbs up, which is not bad, and 222,000 thumbs down.
I just don't.
Which is not great.
I
So
just
my question
don't
for you is, what
understand.
did y'all think about this trailer?
I mean, I think it looks pretty fucking cool.
I mean, the music is shit, right? Obviously, this is a bad remix of a pop song. We hate that stuff in trailers.
I mean, I have
We can
no.
be heroes. Who even sings
See,
that?
here's the problem. That font right there, her name looks like trash, not Tash.
Well, okay, so the font sucks. The cutaway sucks like that. It's obviously a newer, cartoonier art style. Some people are unhappy about that.
I really love the art style.
So I heard someone talk about this today, saying they watched this trailer and it looked like they're announcing a new hero shooter because it has hero shooter energy, right? Like these are the classes to play in this hero shooter. You know, it's just everyone.
But like, let's be real. The BioWare games are about all about the companion characters, right? Like they're super important.
No, sure. It's not, obviously, it's the vibe. It's the art style. It's the vibe. It's the Marvelification of games. But granted, can you pause this for a second? It's a little overstated. But I get why people are so antagonistic, because it's been so long since this game was announced. It's been a decade since the last Dragon Age. You know, we've seen trailers, cinematic trailers, story teasers for Dragon Age Dreadfall. There was so much on this re-reveal, and to re-reveal it with this cinematic only trailer, bad form. No matter how you feel about the content of this trailer, the obviously bad music matchup, this is not how you re-reveal your BioWare to the world. It was bad form. Now, so I do think people are being a little overly antagonistic about it. You know, it's not fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Like some people are saying. It is lighthearted, but it is narrated by Varric, so it makes sense. He's one of the jokier characters, I guess, in the series. But it's bad vibe, bad energy. Dragon Age is a dark, serious, dark fantasy, and you know, everyone fucking hates this now. Everyone hates this tone. It was a weak way to reintroduce the world to BioWare, to Dragon Age, to, hey, projects you can be confident in after Anthem and the bad Mass Effect. That's all. But you know what? There's more to talk about as far as Dragon Age, and, well, I know you disagree.
No, I still haven't even touched Dragon Age Inquisition, and to me, this looks instantly more interesting to me than Inquisition ever did.
I've never played a Dragon Age game, so I can't offer an opinion.
Well, I mean, you know what? Y'all
I feel like there's so many people
giving the thumbs downs, I guess. You know, I've read 5 Dragon Age books, Nick. 5 Dragon Age books.
Maybe I'm just not enough into Dragon Age to understand why people are so fucking up in arms about this. I thought this looked pretty rad.
I feel like I explained it.
Well,
for one, it's a cinematic trailer. 2, they went with the new art style. It's cartoony now.
But like,
Who's
it's a cinematic
when
trailer.
that happens?
It's a cinematic trailer at the start of an entire week worth of coverage. Like they have something every day.
This is how, and a 2-minute trailer to re-reveal this series and studio to the world. It's just not it. You do a gameplay trailer then. You know, this ain't it.
They did a 20-minute gameplay demo today.
I know, Nick. And if they led with that, people would have been much, much happier, because the thumbs up on that were much higher than this. It's just,
as far as marketing campaigns go, which literally, I know we don't want to talk about fucking marketing or why companies make fucking decisions like this, but just like when you talk about a marketing campaign that has multiple pieces,
you can go the next trailer.
This is the kind of thing that you would start with. Like a reintroduction.
Yeah, I think that's a bad marketing choice. I think pretty much everyone, look at the thumbs downs. It's 90% thumbs down. Everyone's screaming from the rooftops that they're so sick of cinematic trailers. Look at what they did to Concord. How dare you introduce this game this way? They're just not. It ain't it.
Okay.
Unless it's like really fucking slick. You know what? This game had a pretty good cinematic reveal.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, not surprising from Ubisoft, and it.
I mean, there's some
pretty
Assassin's Creed cinematic trailers have always.
Dragon Age was a fucking cartoon. It's just people are already apprehensive and they're nervous, and you hit them with cartoons and cinematics.
I just don't understand why you keep using the word cartoons like it's some kind of like slur. Like what the fuck? It's just weird. Whatever. I mean, I don't want to argue about it. We're watching a different trailer now. We've moved on. We're going to talk about it on the podcast. Let's talk about Assassin's Creed.
Don't be surprised that people don't want cartoons.
Deserve to be freed of the oppressor's grasp.
So Assassin's Creed.
Let's move on to the other
If
trailer.
a mainline Assassin's Creed game had that art style, you would be like,
no,
I'm not so
I
sure.
wouldn't.
Now, granted, you're more agreeable and happy about, change.
I like it when artists
so, like,
take
people would be
chances.
just as pissed. I agree with you. The Fortniteification is not an art style I think people are still okay with.
There's nothing about that trailer that made me think Fortnite. Anyways, again, we're not talking. Are we going to talk about this trailer?
Okay, if Assassin's Creed had this art style, do you think the people would be happy?
I can cut the feet anytime now.
I can only speak for myself.
I know you. Well,
I mean, honestly,
telling you,
an art
they'd
style
be
shift
unhappy.
like that would do a lot to just differentiate it from something like Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I
You
just
might-
don't.
While true, people would be so pissed, especially if
I know. I just generally I'm
wanna be
caring
positive
less
and
and less about what the fuck the people want, man. It's like,
I'm just
all people
explaining
want is
why
to be
people are
angry
up in
about
arms.
something all the time, just
No,
constant
that's not
angry
true.
about everything.
That's
man.
not true. No one wants to be angry when Baldur's Gate came out. I'm saying like there are things people are cool with, and there are things people are not. You know, it's not everything. Lots of things got.
Okay,
lots-
we just
Astrobot.
swore
99%
I'd never
thumbs up.
use my power again.
okay. Look,
Colorful.
we just glossed over an entire trailer.
I
and
know,
didn't
but we are
say
going
anything
to talk
about
a
it.
lot about Assassin's Creed tonight, right?
You know, I mean, are we? I don't really want to talk about it. I feel like
I
I'm
found my
constantly
friend's
just
body
made to feel
in the
like I want to
woods.
keep that shit to myself and never talk to anybody about it. Like, that's kind of where I'm at this point.
Well,
So,
what are
I
your
don't
opinions
fucking
on
know.
Life is Strange?
Looks cool.
I don't know.
I mean,
who
I'll
I
play
can
it.
Trust,
I am fucking hyped for this.
or who trusts
I mean,
me.
I really like the last one.
But my friend.
I don't
Sophie
necessarily have the same
is dead.
affection for like Max as a character as everybody else does. Apparently, like it's cool that she's back, but like people are like losing their minds.
It's
there's
because
never
I
been a
think the
direct
first
sequel in the
Life
series
is Strange was really popular, and
I
feel
did
like
not play
not
Before the
near-
Storm, which is maybe a big part of it.
It doesn't matter. I feel like Max is not even. I mean, that's not even a Max game. What I'm saying is the reason people care about Max is because I think way more people played that first Life is Strange than any other Life is Strange project.
Well, yeah.
Which I think had much. I mean, was not nearly as successful. So yeah, people are attached to the character they know.
Dead.
Even
That's
though
fair.
you know, yeah, Chloe was.
I can still
More
see
people should play
Sophie
True Colors.
I played.
True
Colors. I played.
and prevent
It was fine. That was
play
a
this.
Donut, or was that also Deck
That
Nine?
was-
Deck
that was
Nine's
Deck
been
Nine.
doing-
This
doing
is also Deck
Life is
9.
Strange for a while.
I mean,
No,
it sounds
this,
like
yeah,
the-
this one. Yeah.
yeah, it's the same team that did True Colors, which makes me happy.
Donut just did Life is Strange season 1 and season 2, or
And then
episode.
moved on,
or
yeah. Oh no,
series 1 and series
Donut
2.
did Life is Strange 2, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which is another one that I don't think anybody played. You know, like I don't.
No, I don't
I've
think
ever
any
topped
of
it.
the other ones besides series 1 really too many people
So-
played. To be honest.
You want to know all about heroes, do you? Well,
What'd you think of
have
Fable?
Come to the right place. 'Cause,
When the gameplay kicked
who
in, I
better
was
to
like,
tell you
hot
all about
damn.
them than perhaps the
I mean, here's the thing.
greatest
I think
hero of
that,
them all?
like the humor with
Yeah.
this in this trailer kind of resonates with me. I
There
think
he
it's
is.
kind of a nice
You know,
blend
he's
between
fine,
humor
right?
and dark
Cheers.
shit. I mean, it's kind of for me. It's finding a good balance.
I mean,
It's I'm not like super. I wasn't sitting here like really excited for like fart humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not really the same thing that's ever. I mean, I'm sure there will be plenty of fart humor in this game.
and also like a lot of the humor in the Fable franchise is kind of incidental.
You
Like,
haters.
Overall, like the tone of the first 3 games in that franchise
Chance.
is
And,
kind of serious.
the occasional
No, I mean it has plenty of serious stuff. This footage, like, the first footage you see of her walking around a town and talking to a person while like that really like
choices you make.
nostalgic like Fable like music plays, I was like, boom, done. I'm sold. Like this is,
You know, it's your.
I got it. I just felt it in my heart,
That's what defines you.
and that's all that matters. What's up, Crispy?
Hello.
Stays with you.
What's up?
We're watching
Yeah,
trailers.
this could be cool. The only thing is, you know, I kind of just want to see someone like play this game for a little while.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean that's coming.
Like this,
that's
this
definitely
game.
coming.
How far off is this game? Is-
Next year, I'm
Did
pretty
they-
sure
it's
it's
next year.
confirmed. For
Did they
next year.
say? Because some of the games during the Xbox Showcase didn't really even have years on them.
This says
This-
I have my notes here. It said
2025.
Fable
They said.
2025.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. This is, I mean, this is exciting, right? If it's a cool, good RPG and whatnot, and the gameplay stuff looks cool.
The power. She was something else, all right.
Dare I say it?
She was
Oh my God, is this open world?
terrifying. So.
I mean,
Yeah.
Fable always is.
Nah, I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Well, not Fable the Journey.
Humphrey.
No, we don't talk about Fable the Journey.
She's back.
It's just very, you know, different kind of British humor. Still very British.
And then of
just a
course we
different
got
kind of British
we got the tease here at the end for is it
Jack of Blades.
Place,
Jack of Blades, yeah.
and no one is going to stand in my way.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's up,
Chicken
everybody?
chaser?
In chat?
Is that a chicken chaser?
Play it day one with Game Pass.
Chicken
skip
chaser.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, look, this is a hot dog guy.
Speaking of comedy, like we have a comedy theme going on here.
Oh man, this was
I have
the
a question.
what?
Who is this for? Because
I
there are no
don't know,
kids.
honestly,
There
but
are
I
no
don't
kids
hate
who
it.
give a shit about Horizon, right? You know,
Maybe-
Henry doesn't know what
maybe-
Horizon is.
Maybe this is their strategy to get people more interested in Horizon. Because I feel like a lot of people.
But how do
look
you
for
get
the
them
Lego.
to buy this game? Because I
They're
feel
gonna
like
come to it because it has Lego in the title.
Yeah, you have Lego. That's all.
They're reverse
I don't
engineering
think-
it.
I don't. Here's the thing, though. You want to know the truth? I don't think kids pop for Lego Indiana Jones. I think you got to be careful with the properties you pick, and you got to pick properties that kids already care about. And I don't know if Sony has IP that I think kids would pop more for than Horizon. It's a weird choice.
It is a
Unless they
weird
were-
choice.
Now,
No
if this game
denying
came out after like the show or movie, are they working on like a show or a movie
They're
after
working on
that
a show,
blew
I
up? It
think.
makes sense. This just seems a little premature because I'm like, I don't know. Because I also feel like people who really like Horizon maybe don't really care about Lego games. Interesting.
I mean,
Well, the,
yeah,
the other
it's a
thing
very
is
strange
that, like, you got to think about like what family properties they have. They don't have a whole lot, and like they're reintroducing Astrobot basically with this new game, and yeah, Astrobot really like the only other one they have is Ratchet and Clank, and Sony just doesn't want to do anything with Ratchet and Clank.
Wait. The only other properties that appeal to children is what you're saying?
I don't think
family
that's...
friendly.
They could have done. They could have done Lego Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, well, they have. I mean, yeah, there's been plenty of Lego Marvel, but yeah, you're right. They could have. You know, there's a lot of things they could have done.
I really think this is more about. I mean, they're gonna try to appeal to like all the moms and dads that are out there that are gonna just buy this, seeing Lego, introducing it to their young kids, and then hoping that they're playing the long con here. They're trying to get people into Horizon through Lego when they're young, so they can turn those into sales for Horizon years
And this
down
is
the
launching
road.
on Switch, so
that's going to be big.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess
that's also
Horizon is a pretty big property for Sony.
I'm just
right?
of the
yeah.
They
opinion
had to
that
pick one that was
want,
kind of big, but
I just
mean,
want
Ratchet
Ashley
and
Ratchet
Clank
and
Bird
Clank
Sunday.
feels so perfect for this. Ratchet and Clank feels so perfect. I don't get it.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
Or even Sly Cooper, or Jack and Daxter, whatever, or do all of them. You know, they could have done more like a, collect like Parappa. You know, kind of like how they're doing it for Astrobot. Like getting a bunch of Sony IP into a Lego game.
I'll be referring to
You
you
know?
as Snake from now
Okay,
on.
Weird.
switching gears. Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Speaking of gears, yeah.
Pun intended, or
I am so
You must
fucking
not be
hyped for
seen
this.
by the enemy.
Yeah, so here's
No
the
trace of
thing.
your presence.
There's been some
Sometimes
back
I
and
do
forth
some
this
knowledge.
week on.
Is the Fox unit
For
special.
it seemed like maybe this game actually was going to be released in November, and now people are backtracking on it and saying that's actually not the
November.
case.
Naked, just as your
Yeah,
name.
there was a
I don't
lot of
think
rumors floating around today that like I think GameStop like and a bunch of other maybe some other retailers like listed it as November 17th, and then
November
then they pulled
17th
it,
would
and now
have
they're
been
like,
the 20th anniversary of the original Snake Eater. So, a
so
lot of
it's
people speculating
suspicious.
on that,
It's
including
suspicious. It could still happen, but
this seems like such a big project. Like it feels like this. No. I mean, I hate to say it. All the stuff that was shown at this Key 3, if it didn't have like a specific date, I question whether it's even actually going to make 2024. Like there were some games that just said 2024 without a specific date. To me, those feel like they're already primed to slip into next year. Because you know what happens? So many games slip into like next February. This feels like a great next February release, right?
It
Or
does,
Next
and-
March release.
Honestly,
Doing
I
it-
don't
doing
remember that many that said 2024. I remember a lot that said 2025.
oh yeah, most
There
of
was a
it
lot
said
during
2025, but
Xbox
there were a
that said
handful that
2025.
had specific dates.
But I'm saying like what's a game? Like Dragon Age doesn't have a date, right? It just says
Are
2024.
you thinking Dragon Age is going to slip?
Absolutely. That seems
How
like
could
the
it
perfect kind of game to slip. Right? It's a big, huge game that has a lot to prove and it has a lot to to
I don't think
lose?
BioWare would have even mentioned the year if they thought they could miss it, because, like you
I
said,
don't
they
think
have
so.
so much to prove.
I don't
Like,
think
you don't
EA
like
would
you don't
allow
want to
the game to
disappoint
slip.
people.
Big game slip.
I would be
You
shocked
say that,
if
but
they
it
let
happens
Dragon Age slip.
every year. We are going to see half a dozen
Well,
games
No. I get
They
that.
fall into
could-
February.
They could
I always knew
always
I had an
just
instinct.
make sure it meets that deadline, and then it comes out.
I could see the world
Yeah.
differently.
I mean, I'm
That's
just
happened
saying.
before.
Be like
Like,
any
It
other
it has, but I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like I don't even think they would let that.
I was
Like
wrong.
I think they are self-aware enough to know that like if they do that, if they do that, if they release a dud if they release it too early and it's fucked up, people will rip them to pieces. And I feel like if they mention a date and then let it slip, people will rip them to pieces. It's like I
This is
don't
the
know if they
first
would
time
do that.
they've had a date. It's not a. They don't even have a month. What I'm saying is, a game that gets delayed to February doesn't kill a game. I mean, it's not going to kill the Dragon Age. People want it to be good. People
It's
want.
only going to be killed if there's a FromSoft game launching against it.
Which is not
So,
happening.
what do
Okay,
you
can we
think
talk about
This
this
is
for a
Deus
second?
Ex, right?
Can we talk about Perfect Dark for a second? This is, I think, my like highlight of the show, and I was not expecting.
This was the genuine surprise. Am I the only one that thinks this might be a fucking immersive sim?
Well, they've talked about it a little bit. There's been interviews. They're
Basically.
specifically referencing Deus Ex as an inspiration and like calling it like it has immersive sim elements.
Yeah.
But it's which you know that's what it looks like to me, and that makes sense. And that's not what I was expecting at all.
But that's
And
fucking
I am-
exciting in an age when
It's
we're
got,
not
like-
going to get another fucking Dishonored and so many other things.
It's got like Dishonored and Mirror's Edge like
Scans
parkour and
Very
fucking
blind.
immersive sim exploration and like
Yeah, I mean,
gadgets
I
and
hope it's
shit.
good
This looks
though.
rad.
You know, because Xbox on one hand is shutting down Arcane Studios and keeping this thing alive, so I better be fucking good.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, it could still go either way, but just
It
as far
probably-
as like a
it probably ain't
showing,
gonna be no Prey.
just as far as like a showing goes, like this is like
It's just nice to. Hey Nick, pause.
I don't have control.
Pause. Chris Davis. You know what? You know why this pops? Because this
it has
is a
gameplay.
much nicer way to reveal a game after a very, very long bout of nothing.
Yes,
If they
I
did
know.
a silly cinematic trailer with jokes, people would have been boo.
I know, but here's
boo."
the counterpoint to that. Unlike Dragon Age, we probably won't see this game again for another 6 months to a year. Like Dragon Age literally had something dropping every single day this week leading up to the Game Informer cover story on Friday. Like they basically just planned an entire week's worth of content expose on Dragon Age.
Yeah.
And they started with a cinematic trailer knowing that they have all these things coming up behind it. Which is just, I know may not be the most popular
Make a
choice,
better
but like
trailer.
it makes more sense. Like this, they're going to show us this and then we won't see it again for 8 to 9 months or more.
Well, maybe. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe this game would have been primed for, hey, tomorrow we're going to do 20 minutes. I mean, some of the games kind of did. Like, there were some deep dives, right?
I'm saying if they were going to do that, if they were going to be like tune in later this week for a deep dive into the gameplay, I guarantee you at that presentation we would have seen a cinematic trailer.
All right,
That's
skip
just
this
what they
shit.
fucking do. Anyways,
Cinematic trailers. I speak for the people when I say that because a large, vast majority are very vocal about not wanting them. And I feel like at that point, if you're a marketing team, don't do it.
look, I'm not sitting here trying to defend cinematic trailers. I'm just saying that like
Before I could see.
there's more to that story than just they showed a cinematic trailer.
I thought if
down
anybody
some
would be
ratings.
anti-humor, it would be you, Nick.
Do you think
You're serious, boy.
they make those trailers for the board of investors?
I hope you're ready.
That's also true.
Not for gamers.
That is
I
true.
skipped.
Once you open
Damn it!
this door,
It's already 8:30.
there's no
Maybe,
going
maybe
back.
we need to
Brett,
set the go time to 8:40.
we did this knowing we're always gonna run like
I
we're
know,
just
but
supposed-
we're also never punching it right at 8.
I mean that's not
Just
my fault or
We
any
punched
like
it
like
5 minutes in to 8 o'clock. Like, doesn't matter. I want to watch this trailer and then we can go. Because I am fucking hyped for Doom. My tone of voice may not suggest it, but good God, I want to
I
play
mean,
this so bad.
I'm super hyped for this. I know you're hyped for this. You should be hyped for this. I think this is gonna be great.
I was a little on the fence until they showed the big robot. You think you get to?
What about the flying dragon, Crispy?
You think you get to pilot the big robot?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I mean, probably, yeah.
Yeah, you pilot the robot and you fight the Titan. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And they've added a fucking parry system to this game. Like, holy fuck.
I was kind of hoping to peep some South of Midnight a little bit.
Okay, we can watch South of Midnight after.
No, that's a
After
full
this.
South of Midnight looks cool.
South of Midnight
Slitherhead
does look pretty
trailer on here.
This gun looks cool. It just
Yeah, I just like what the fuck?
I love that. It's so good.
I feel like Crispy's laugh is like a really good indicator that you got something good.
It's
Like if you evoke Crispy, that laugh from Crispy, it's like, ah, yeah, we got it.
Okay. And I'm the bad guy for saying don't do a cinematic trailer. A cartoon.
What? I didn't say you were a bad guy.
No, I'm the bad guy for not wanting the silly cinematic trailer.
Yep.
Maybe I should have laughed like Crispy.
Maybe you should.
What? Wait, were you
Get with
laughing
the
like that
market
during the?
trends.
Were you laughing like that during the
Dragon Age trailer?
the Dragon Age cinematic reveal?
Fucking child.
But it was
Got
fun.
this shit right there.
It was kind of funny. No, the only thing I could think of. The only thing I could think
Lego
of was
Horizon
how bladently the Necromancer character looked like Vincent Price, where it's like, I don't know if that's okay. I don't think you can do that.
Cartoon Vincent Price. Or Fortnite Vincent Price.
Yeah, but it's
Is
like,
Vincent Price in Fortnite?
don't you have to pay people if you use their?
Nah, okay. Stop it.
Hey,
We're gonna
maybe
skip
they
way
are
ahead of this
paying.
No, but what I'm saying is like, are
it's
they gonna get
horrible.
sued, and then is that gonna delay the game? Like,
Could be. Anything could happen. That'd be kind of funny. Can
You
we
have
talk
to
about how
skip a little
cool
bit
this
in this
game fucking looks?
this game looks cool. It does that that Spider-Verse
Looks
thing.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
They,
it's in the Spider-Verse
they skip
thing.
every
At, like
few
the
frames or something.
16, yeah, like 16 frames or 13 or something weird like that.
Which is not what I was expecting from a game. You know, I mean, I didn't really know what to expect.
Well,
after
we
the
saw a trailer
the
for
first
this
trailer.
before. We
Yeah,
knew
but I don't
it
think it
this
had
art
that
style
effect in
and-
the original trailer.
No, it did.
It did? Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I just don't remember. I guess maybe it also.
This is 4 minutes long, Chris Davis. If you want to skip a little bit.
You want to make him come running?
Yeah, get to the gameplay.
Yeah.
Gotta move
Which is the
quicker.
thing, right? I mean, hey,
Is she
this
still
studio can
animated
definitely
like
make
that?
games with nice art style.
Yeah, so
It's gonna
the
make good
character
video
is
games.
animating like that, but the entire rest of the game is 60 frames.
Wait,
So she's
that floating island
Is
the gator?
Or at
Y'all
least the
ever seen
environment
Beasts of the
is
Southern
anyway.
Wild?
huh?
Y'all ever
we
seen
seen
Beasts of the Southern Wild?
Nope.
No.
does that sound
Beasts of the
familiar?
Southern Wild. It's a film.
Hell,
Hey, what do y'all? So, what do y'all think of the actual gameplay in this? How are we feeling about this?
I think it looks fine. Here's the thing. I don't think the combat looks like it's gonna be anything like too. No. Listen. I think this looks fine, and hell, even looks fun. I just don't think it's gonna be anything like
Like
groundbreaking.
Beyond Good
but-
and Evil, right? Beyond Good
Yeah,
and Evil
but
a
like
little bit?
I'm into these worlds look like they're gonna be fun to explore and traverse.
Do you think that this type of game is a good suit for a studio who's had the kinds of issues it's had?
Well, I don't know
in the
what to
past?
think because Compulsion has yet to deliver a game that's not troubled in some way. But,
Above
like
a
this
70?
could.
I mean, I
This
think you
could
just
be
have
their
to let them
first.
try.
Okay.
What else have they
What
done?
are you talking about, Chris Davis?
What else have they
I think
done?
you had to fucking let
We don't
them
want them
try.
to
I-
shut down the game or anything. I'm just saying, they've
I mean, there's
shipped
reasons to be
L's.
concerned. To answer your question, Crispy, the last game they did was Contrast.
There's a fucking
and,
cow there?
No, We Happy Few was their last game.
Oh yeah, I
Contrast was their
keep
first
forgetting they made We Happy Few. I always think of
Yeah.
Gearbox when I think of We Happy Few.
game. Ooh.
Like, I
But
have to
here's
wonder
the
whether
thing. Here's the thing.
the Compulsion making this game, whether it's the same Compulsion that made.
Yeah,
previous
maybe all those trash founders.
Yeah, but I
most
would
studios,
say-
most studios, like you're like, oh, I miss the doctors from BioWare. Now the studio doesn't even resemble the BioWare I used to love. Maybe it's like the opposite for them. Like, oh, all the trash that founded this studio and made terrible games for years is finally gone.
You're-
now they have all
you're
these new
blowing my
people in
point
who
way out of
actually know how to
proportion.
make a video game.
Dude, you're joking. That happens. Hang on. I would say that the difference between this and We Happy Few kind of looks like I think structurally or like just kind of philosophically, altogether, holistically, the problem with We Happy Few is that it just lacked direction. It wasn't like it wasn't like a really firm good idea. It was something that they kind of like had an idea on, and then they completely changed what it was anyway when people were like, we don't like this.
Yeah.
Do we know what kind of game it is?
This looks
they
like it has
released
a
any-
very strong vision behind it, you know?
Was there a press release about this game at all?
About South of
You
Midnight?
can stop this, Chris Davis.
Yeah, I think it's time to get started.
Okay, all right. Although I am Stalker is also very high for me this year, so
No, it is
Okay,
for
well,
me
we can't
too.
just watch the ones you want to watch, sir.
I mean I can because
Um,
I'm in control of the presentation.
He is
So
controlling the
fuck you.
presentation.
I can do
You
whatever
can
I
be
want.
harassed for it, though.
Oh yeah,
Just kick
yeah.
Brad out of the
just,
call and just watch trailers.
I can just cut the call. I can.
I want to
mute
watch
you.
trailers. I'd rather do this for the next hour than talk about it on a
I
podcast.
can,
I think this is
I'm
a
in
better
control of the
venue.
horizontal and the vertical.
I don't know. Contrast was their other game. Both. It's crazy.
I've actually played Contrast.
Contrast
That
is
had
a 59 on Metacritic. We Happy Few's a 62.
Here's the thing:
This
Contrast
studio
had
has yet
technical
to ship a
problems.
game over a 62. That's crazy.
Contrast had technical problems. They were a much smaller studio. They were basically like a really small indie studio. Being, wasn't it?
Bloodborne had technical problems, man. Sometimes people just have technical problems and make a bad game, and it sounds like this studio needs help. You remember when Ninja Theory?
But like you're
said they were
assuming
making
they've
Devil
gotten help. Like
11
they've
years
been
ago.
working in this game for a long time. You have to imagine it's a much bigger studio. They have a much bigger publisher behind them now. It's been literal years since they've been able to do a project that's like their complete vision.
That game, the Southern Beast, what's it called?
What?
Their new game. What's it called?
South of Midnight?
South of Midnight. Certainly looks more interesting than their last couple of games, I guess, in terms of even gameplay. I mean, I guess the vibe from their last couple of games did look pretty good. It was the games that were kind of mid, but like this already looks more promising. But it is very optimistic to just hope that this studio got their shit together, which is fine. It's good to be optimistic when the game looks good. So I mean, I hope it's something good. It was definitely one of the more like compelling things I saw. I think his headphones are freaking out. It's definitely one of the better looking things I saw at this show. Like that frog was awesome. That frog was character of the show. So you know, I'm hyped.
It was a good year for frogs, I think.
Good year for frogs.
Yeah.
Testing. The frog in Fable looked pretty good too.
Yeah. So good year for frogs. All right.
I can't hear you, Nick.
Sorry, I've been freaking out. Was that a frog or was that a fish?
Oh, it was a fish.
It was a catfish.
Catfish.
It was catfish.
Okay, catfish. Okay, I was like,
Why
I
did I
feel like
think
we
I
need to
was
go back and play the tape back. I think it's a fish.
Catfish of the year. Catfish of the year.
We've
We
been
got catfished by a catfish.
Yeah, nope, that's not even a joke, dude.
No, it's not. That's why I aborted. Okay, so
Did you though?
I think I'm good to go. Get my Audacity going.
Hopefully my headphones have done their one and only fuck up for the night.
Catfish is sick. I like the catfish. I
All
hope
right,
you
do
get
we
to
want
hang out
to
with
talk
that
about?
catfish
Look,
again.
I'm gonna do this pretty free form. I'm not gonna
I
like.
don't know how it is.
I'm not gonna run down this giant list. I just want to talk about Summer Game Fest as a whole. We can go
People
in
talk
any
about their
direction we want.
highlights, you know? People talking about the highlights.
Right. Do we want to do the highlights first, or do we want to do impressions first, and then just talk about the rest of the shit until we're done, and that be the show? Or
It's
really impressions wise, really all we have is Crispy's Destiny 2.
And nobody gives a shit about that.
Well, we also
I'm actually
Brad also has an impression.
Don't listen to Nick. He don't give a shit. But we are happy that you're happy. And
You're a
there are a lot of
fucking
listeners
asshole.
who, hey, Nick, this ain't your turn. This is Crispy's turn. What I'm saying is, I bet a lot of our viewers and listeners do care about Destiny. So I don't think we need to front. We're not Destiny people. We know you are. That's fine.
Hey, I'm
Right?
curious seeing all these fucking positive reviews for the final shape.
Yeah. I think it's like a Return of the King situation personally, but I do hear it's good.
What's the Return of the King situation?
Yeah, people are awarding, the final one, as like they
You don't think
respect
the Return of the King was worthy of it?
Well,
Listen,
there's
motherfucker. The first two didn't win any Oscars, and
Oh.
the third one swept the Oscars. I think they were awarding the entire project because people loved the entire project. I think that's what's happening with Destiny a little bit. This is the final goodbye, and people are saying, you know what, Destiny 2, this was a rocky ride, but
yeah,
we're
but
here
like,
for you.
but wouldn't that be a slightly different situation if everybody hated Two Towers?
No. Well, what I'm saying is at the end you get even more of the you get the proper send off, right? You get the
This seems like
this meant
prime
something
real
to
estate
us,
for a podcast.
maybe we couldn't we didn't have the balls to give you the Oscar before, but we do now because goddamn,
I don't think it deserved
something
the
to us.
Oscar
You know, that-
before. I mean,
well,
I really
maybe
think
Two Towers didn't deserve an Oscar either.
Hey,
Maybe
real
Return
quick,
of the King
Definitely deserved an Oscar. What are you talking about?
My
Hey,
point
Crispy.
is, Fellowship of the Ring was better than Return of the King. Just like Taking King is probably better than whatever the fuck this is. I'm just saying, people really like Destiny 2 ultimately, right? It's a very popular, successful game. And I think critics, are saying goodbye in the best way they
Okay.
can by giving the shit a 10.
You're probably right. Okay, Crispy, real quick, before we start,
It's not.
can you just double check that your Audacity is recording the right microphone? Because I think it was picking up something else last time.
Oh, I don't even have Audacity open.
Well, when you do open Audacity, everybody should open Audacity.
Testing 1 2
Oh.
test. Okay, I am speaking. into the
Fellowship
correct
was
microphone.
absolutely best of the trilogy. And you know what? Two Towers was second best of the trilogy. And you know what? Return of the King is a little bit of a Return of the Jedi situation. I feel like at this point,
I
in my
don't
life.
know that I'm ready to say the Fellowship was the best of the trilogy. I mean, it's great.
I'm
It's
kind of
incredible.
crispy here.
But the best of the trilogy, like, dude,
Maybe
Helm's
2000.
Deep, like,
Yeah.
Are you fucking
I got
kidding me? Like,
Okay, I mean, it was good. It was great.
That was an onslaught of the senses, man.
When I was younger, I also believed Two Towers was the best. What I'm saying now is that it definitely ain't Return of the King. It ain't.
Return of the King maybe isn't the best, but Return of the King is.
Can we have this debate on the podcast?
Look, King
No.
Theoden giving a speech, Battle of
Oh,
Pelennor.
come on! Yeah,
get
that's
it.
like a
It's
low.
goat. It's a goat
okay,
moment. Rest
okay,
in
and
peace.
then the dead man of Dunharrow, like that shit was so fucking cool. Like,
Yeah, and I get it. You bow for no one. I cry every time. I'd watch it right now. I'd cry. Listen, I get it. But also,
In
like,
Fellowship?
CGI Legolas like sliding down the Oliphant. I mean, come on.
what
you
do
know,
you
it's-
like? What
it's-
does bring you joy?
I
in
just
life?
named things I
Jesus
like.
Fucking Christ!
We just named things we liked. I don't have
Nothing
to like
brings
all of it.
All right.
I'm saying that was cool for early mid 2000s. It ain't that cool anymore.
Brad, for all of the talking you're doing right now, you better have Audacity open and ready to go.
Bitch, every time I'm always ready. What didn't I give you this rant the other week? I'm Mr. Reliable as much as you want to talk shit. Yeah, see, look at him making the fucking face. How many times you're like, hey, Brad, can you upload your file? I can't find your file, or there's something wrong with your audio. How often, Nick, am I the issue? Tell me. Oh, Chris Davis, I need your shit from the last night. How often are you bugging me?
Well,
I'm saying, tell these people the truth.
In those specific scenarios that you just laid out,
these people the truth.
Not often.
How often
You
is
find,
my
you
audio
find
fucked up?
other
How
ways,
often is
other
my audio
creative
fucked
ways to be the problem.
No, sure. You know what? I'll concede. I'll probably make you upset multiple times.
You've
tonight,
driven Chris
but it's
Davis
not
to
going to
the-
be with my recording.
You've driven Chris Davis to the drink. Chris Davis, you
I mean,
look like you
Chris
regret
Davis
that
is
shot.
to the drink
Why did you?
because his feed's going to start lagging. His mic's going to start fucking up. Your headphones are going to blow up. Crispy's going to lose a file. But you know who's Mr. Reliable? This guy.
I don't lose
here.
files.
This guy. Tell these people the truth. I've been doing this for a long time, Nick. I got you.
He is pretty reliable.
I'm recording. Chris, I don't want to hear anything out of you, Mr. Producer on Fire.
Brad,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. Let's go.
I'm
Hold on
good.
a second.
I'm recording.
Shut the fuck up. Let's go. I'm recording.
Where did Nick go?
I'm recording. Where'd Nick go?
Sorry for the strays, all of y'all. I'm just saying, don't let him paint this fucking picture, viewers. It's bullshit.
Can y'all hear like a high pitched noise?
No,
It ain't coming from me, I'll tell you that much.
No, I know exactly where it's coming from. I just want to know if y'all can hear it.
I don't hear it.
Okay. Then I don't care.
Is
My
it-
wife's in there. She's taking off nail polish, and she has this like thing that's making this like really high pitched noise.
Is it?
Well, it isn't making it through the walls.
Is
I
nail
mean, I
polish
can hear it.
remover
I can
allowed
hear it.
these
As long
days?
as y'all can't hear it, though. That's all I care about.
I'm restarting my recording.
I am starting my recording. What is up, James Carey in YouTube chat and SPR DPR?
And we need to hurry because I only have 982 hours of space left on my drive.
Shut the fuck up.
So let's get going.
Shut the fuck
Man,
up. All right, are we all
This
recording?
guy's so cool.
I think Gleeger in chat just implied. You know what? Never mind. All right, we all recording? We good?
I'm recording.
All right. Then a roll call starts right now. Brad,
Hello.
Chris Davis,
Hello, I'm also here.
and Crispy.
Hello.
Perfect. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 797, right? Did I get that right? I'm kind of guessing here.
798.
798. Shit.
You already fucked up.
798. It is June 11th. Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. I know what I'm doing. And we are here to talk about video games. Welcome. My name is Nick Henderson. I'm joined by Brad Simons.
Did y'all hear Dragon Age is coming to Fortnite? Huh?
Mm.
The new characters? They're coming to Fortnite?
Wait, is that a true story?
So surprising.
Oh, you're just making a fucking joke, you
Well,
asshole.
I
Okay.
made the character
And
models for them.
also joined by Crispy. How you doing, Crispy?
Hello.
Who has brought us Destiny 2 footage tonight.
I did it.
I will finally know what this game looks like
I did
uh,
it.
in action.
You
Looking
know what it
forward
looks
to it.
like. You know
This
what it-
motherfucker hasn't seen a screenshot of Destiny 2. Crispy, do not let him fool you.
And I'm also, of course, joined by Christopher Davis. Hello, Chris Davis.
Maybe
I don't know
video
why.
games were a mistake.
Did y'all hear me? I just called
This
Chris
dude's
Davis
drinking,
Chris.
What was that? Was that vodka? You drinking vodka over there?
He always drinks vodka. That's like his drink of choice, but
That is my
his
drink of
face
Come
never
on, man.
looks
Xbox
like it's his
stole
drink
the
of choice.
show. What are you sad about?
He's sad about Splinter Cell.
Yes.
Chris
Ubisoft
Davis.
fucked
We
me.
voted no on that. We all voted no on
Yeah,
that.
real quick,
I voted
real quick.
yes.
Chris Davis, did I not tell you last week that you were setting yourself up for immense
Yeah.
disappointment? And I didn't specifically call out Splinter Cell, but I think that is one of the ones that you had on the list of predictions that I thought sounded the most crazy. Like if
Yeah,
you are
it was
if you're
crazy.
putting all of your cards on in the Splinter Cell hat, you're going to be incredibly disappointed.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's come to pass.
Chris Davis, here, we broke it down for you before. I'll do it again in a couple seconds. Next year, they're not going to have Assassin's Creed and they're not going to have Star Wars Outlaws. They're going to need
Actually,
a video game. So
they will
it'll
have
probably
Assassin's
be
Creed
this
probably next year.
Oh, gross. Okay, well, next year's
don't
they
forget
had
about
big
Hess.
games this year. They had big games this year that they didn't need another distraction, another big project to get people talking. They had
Hang
two
on.
major games.
No, you're wrong about this in two ways. Number one, 3/4 of their presentation this year was nothing but fucking updates about existing projects we already know about, including
Which we knew
content
was
that
gonna
has been
happen.
out for months,
Yeah,
if
'cause
not
they're trying
fucking
to sell
years.
those fucking games. They're trying
Second,
to sell those games.
they announced one new project. One fucking new project. That's it. For an hour-long
What was it?
presentation, they only announced one fucking game.
Is it coming out soon?
No.
What is it?
Yeah, what
I
game
don't
are you
even
talking
fucking
about?
remember. It just made me so angry. I am so...
You're not talking about the... Okay. Chris Davis, first of all, I just want you to know...
game?
Yeah, it was the Anno game. That's right.
Oh, well, that's just
another
a completely
fucking
different
Anno.
demographic. That's
Look.
a completely different demographic.
Look, Chris Davis.
Meta
The Ubisoft thing, I didn't like. Even I went into the Ubisoft thing expecting it to be like 50% Outlaws and 50% Assassin's Creed Shadows, which turns out I'm super hyped for both of those games. So I'm
You know what
fine.
was cool
I'm fine.
about Outlaws?
Are we doing this?
Oh,
We're gonna eventually talk. Well, I mean, we're gonna talk about this stuff.
we're going to talk about them. Okay.
Yeah. So real quick. I never got an answer to this.
I already know what
before
Crispy's gonna say.
Before we hit record,
The
I
lack of a
asked you
loading
guys.
screen.
I asked you guys if y'all wanted to talk Destiny 2 first and then do Summer Game Fest, or if you wanted to do it the
let's
other way
do it.
around.
You mean the altars first, and then the rest of the stuff after?
Oh yeah.
The altars.
This
No,
this
we're-
motherfucker every week.
I know what the altars is. Did you play?
No,
it?
I played the demos. I played the demo. I got footage.
Oh, that's cool. Is it cool?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it. Maybe.
say
we
no?
will talk about it, but
I might get bumped.
I am making the
They're
executive
like
decision that we
Harlan
talk
Williams
about
over here.
Destiny 2 first, because we've been waiting 85 years for footage
We have
of this.
We have been waiting 85
it's
years.
time.
No, I'm
we're
not gonna
do
bump
this.
Crispy.
Okay,
I'm not gonna bump.
okay, listen. Everybody listen. Just give me a second because we haven't really even gotten through the quote-unquote intro of this podcast yet. I just want to say
Oh, this is
It's
the
been-
podcast?
this is the podcast. It's been a big week. It's been a big week. Not only are we going to talk about all the Summer Game Fest stuff, it's a lot of some pretty exciting stuff there. But like I said, Crispy brought Destiny 2 footage. He's been playing the final shape, and apparently that game is shaping. The game is pretty good. So we're gonna finally talk about that.
Shape it up. Just say it. You said it already.
I know.
Just-
I know.
It's shaping up
Happens, man.
and shipping up.
Yep. It's just habit, man. And then of course, and then Brad, you did mention this. I don't know when this happened. Little, behind the scenes for you guys. We used to rely very heavily on a Google Doc for help for planning, like what we're going to talk about. And somewhere along the line, everybody just stopped using it. So I'm
Not true.
I'm shooting
Do
from the
you
hip.
clear it out every week?
Yes.
Sometimes I go in there and I'm like, this still has last week's shit on there. I
Okay,
guess
first of
I'm
all,
like-
it is a Google Doc that you have full range of control over.
Yeah, but see,
you
I
can
don't know your
literally
whole
just delete
system
that stuff.
You every time you just go in there and delete everything one by one.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck up your process. I feel like if I'm gonna throw something on there, you're gonna end up deleting it, man.
So
Whatever. You do put out the call, and when I say this, I'm gonna be there, and this is my game. Yeah, that means it's.
But
my game.
you know what? If I like today, I sent that message out, right? I'm sorry, everybody. I sent that message out in Discord today, and I've just stopped saying, "Hey, update the doc." I'm just asking people, "Hey, what are you talking about?" And when I do that, I'm like literally working on overlays and shit for the show in that moment. So if you don't get back to me within like 30 seconds to like 2 minutes, you've missed the window, and I've moved on.
Okay.
Oh, well, I
That's
don't
never
care about
been
overlays.
explained to us, I don't think. So,
Well,
I do feel
I know.
like
I certainly
I feel that.
explained my situation at work with my.
We're getting into the weeds. We're getting into the weeds.
We
and-
love this behind the scenes look at
I'm
how
hard to
our-
reach during the day when
how our
I'm.
professional operation works.
Yes, I mean, I want people to understand just how unprofessional of an operation this actually is. So, without further ado,
Patreon.com/4Player. Yeah.
Patreon.com/4. You know what? More importantly than that, Discord.gg/4Player. That's where we want y'all to come hang out. If you can't support us financially, which if you do, we really appreciate it. Obviously, it helps us host the show and keep the lights on and all that stuff. But we want you in the Discord to come hang out, talk about video games, talk about things, right? We have show us pictures of your pets, talk about the food you're eating, all that shit. But more importantly, we talk about video games all the fucking time, and we want you to be a part of it.
like
So
the pet
go to
pics are more
discord.gg/4player.
Oh hell, let's talk about density.
You are my density. Pop me to you.
All right. So let's do this, Crispy.
Let's fulfill the
How's-
prophecy.
So okay. I mean, I'm
A Schluter. This is a Schluter.
a Schluter for sure. This is the Schluter. This is the one. Destiny 2, the final shape, the quote-unquote last of the yearly expansions that they're going to be doing. This was the ending of the 10-year Light and Dark saga, which is the saga that the story has been telling since the launch of the first Destiny in 2014.
Damn.
This is about the Traveler and the Light versus its immortal enemy, the Darkness, and its representative, which we found out a few years ago was an entity called Witness. And the Witness's nefarious plan is to calcify the entire universe into one final shape, what it calls a perfect form, in which everything will be still and silent forever.
That sounds
No
bad.
more life, no more death. Exactly.
So it's like the shape is shapelessness.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see too. Well, maybe not. I don't know if you will see in this, but
Is this the calcification we're seeing here?
well, this is a vision. So this is when you. So in the beginning of the campaign, when you first enter the Traveler, basically where we have been at so far is last expansion, Lightfall. The Witness arrived in the solar system. It brought its pyramid fleet, the black fleet of pyramid ships, and it did something to the Traveler, and it opened a giant portal on the face of it. And for a year, we've been looking at this portal, unable to enter it, wondering what the hell the Witness is up to inside the Traveler. And at the end of Season of the Wish, which is the season that just concluded right before this came out, we finally finished the quest to send somebody through the portal to open the way for the rest of us, and now the final shape is about us entering the Traveler, confronting the Witness, and
Saving the
ultimately-
universe.
Yes, saving the universe, destroying it.
Fuck yeah.
So the beginning of the expansion is literally you going through the portal into the Traveler. This vision, the cutscene that you're looking at right now, is a vision you have as you're like going into the Traveler. It kind of foreshadows a lot of stuff that ends up happening through the campaign. I don't think it's any secret that Destiny's kind of been waning. It's been having some trouble for a while. The
Been a
last
bit of a
expansion,
roller coaster.
yeah, Destiny
say.
tends to do that. It tends to have like one or two really mid, is this the end of Destiny kind of catastrophic expansion launches, and then they'll come out with something really good, right?
How many expansions so I guess general question, are expansions and seasons the same thing, or are
They're
these,
not.
like, okay.
Expansions are like the actual full like expansions to the game. They add new locations, new mechanics. They advance
You
the meta
spend
plot.
money on them.
You spend money on all of it. You spend money on seasons too, but
Wait, what?
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
games as a service spending.
Well, you can't
This-
pay
this
for a
is you
season
buy
and get all
a-
the
this is
expansions
you
that come as
buy-
part of that season.
You can do stuff in the season.
Okay.
But like the seasonal activity and like the main seasonal gameplay loop, you don't have access to if you don't pay for it.
Wing It in chat says seasons are like a third of an expansion.
Yeah, because there's 3 of them usually between expansions.
I feel like we're getting into the
Holy
nitty gritty.
shit.
We're getting into the nitty-gritty, but this
I'm
is
trying
kind
to
of
learn.
But this is kind of part of why Destiny has had trouble over the years, is because it's like, if you're gonna have this really convoluted and frankly expensive monetization model, the stuff you're putting out has to be good, you know. And when
Right.
it's not, people really feel it.
And it's been
And-
inconsistent at best.
And it has been inconsistent
It's
at
Warcraft.
best.
It's
The
World of
last thing-
Warcrafty.
It is very World of
similar,
Warcrafty, especially in that this game was closely tied with Activision for a while. It was like Bungie was owned by Activision, and when Bungie was under Activision, we got Forsaken, which was one of the best expansions, and that expansion actually kind of begins a lot of the story threads that get wrapped up in this expansion. That's the expansion in which Nathan Fillion's character Cade Six is killed, and in this expansion, I mean, we're about to meet him. He's back.
Oh shit, he's Jesus.
Cade
Yeah,
7.
he literally is.
Wait, he's Jesus?
No, not Cade 7. He's still Cade 6. He said he
Oh.
doesn't like any numbers higher than 6.
Interesting.
Okay.
The
So- Real quick, so I'm only trying to get into the weeds here, and I'm asking these questions because
Right.
like this is one of those things. We had this conversation before where I was like, I've been kind of like curious about Destiny, but like it was almost implied that like maybe just you'd be better waiting for Destiny 3. So these are things I feel like I should maybe understand, because this is going to be probably reminiscent of what to expect from Destiny 3 when we.
I mean, if you
eventually get
really
there.
want to get into Destiny, Final Shape is fucking great. like I don't want to bury the lead here. The final shape is great.
This looks cool.
It's
Like,
very cool. This is the
it's
new.
like starting with Yakuza 6. I feel
This is the new location. It's true, but I feel like the onboarding has been pretty good. And in fact, it kind of gets away from some of the problem is that, like, as things have gone on, like, the story has kind of gone in different directions or they've opened different threads that maybe, like, are a little more confusing for newer people. I feel like this game did a really good job of, like, wrapping everything up and being like, this is our, like, this is the Return of the Jedi. This is Avengers Endgame. This is Return of the King. Like, this is where everything is, and we're bringing all these threads together to complete a lot of them.
Right.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Gotcha.
So I heard the builds are good.
The builds are fucking crazy now because one of the big surprises with the expansion is they added a new subclass that is unlike anything else that's in the game. So typically you've got your three main classes. You got warlocks, hunters, and titans. And each of those classes have access to 5 subclasses. And those 5 subclasses are all based around the different elements of damage. 3 light, 2 dark, you know?
Okay.
Traditionally, like since the very beginning, when you're a subclass, so you can see like right down here in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, I'm on a solar, which is like the fire element subclass for hunter. All of my abilities are the solar abilities for hunter, okay? The new subclass is called prismatic, and we're going to see it up here in a little bit. Prismatic's whole thing is that it represents your... So like originally we thought that that light was good and dark was evil. And then as we got into it, we realized it's not really that simple. We know the light from allies and we know the darkness from enemies, so that kind of like gave it this moral alignment that it doesn't actually like represent, right? So as things got more desperate in the solar system over the last few years, our Guardian has learned how to harness darkness powers to become stronger, to grow their power. And prismatic here in the Traveler, in the like source of light in our universe, we are finally learning it is being infested by darkness. Like the Herald of Darkness is now taking root inside the Traveler, so there's huge amounts of like pure light and pure dark everywhere. And our Guardian learns how to harmonize it within themselves in complete harmony and wield light and darkness together. The mechanical effects of that are that you get a subclass where you can just pick and choose abilities from all the other subclasses and run them at the same time.
Oh.
So that opens up new interactions that were before like pretty much completely impossible for someone to pull off by themselves. You know, you'd have to have like different teammates who were on different elements in order to have the sort of like stacking of like scorched and devoured and frozen, you know, like all these different keywords that are attached to each of the different elements. Now you can just kind of like mix and match at will and make this like really overpowered kind of like game-breaking build. It's the kind of thing where like, I don't know if you remember when I was talking about Diablo 2 or Diablo 3, sorry. Towards the end of Diablo 3's like main development cycle before they were getting ready for Diablo 4, they were kind of like fuck it, and they like started adding mechanics to the game that were just like game breaking. That's kind of what they're doing here. They're a blown superpowered God Slayer.
I think the feed just died, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It should be back.
Okay, just making sure.
And so, like, this new subclass kind of represents you achieving the full potential of your power. The story of the expansion is, I mean, honestly, it is, I think it's the best story campaign they've ever done. And I've really enjoyed a few of the past ones. This kind of feels like a natural progression where, like, every few expansions we got something that was, like, really special. Forsaken was really cool, and then a couple expansions later we got Witch Queen, which was another really good one that had a lot of like interesting revelations and twists in the lore. And then this one is like a perfect encapsulation between like resolving a lot of like lore questions and plot threads about like what is the nature of light and dark, what is the nature of the world we live in here, and like really emotional catharsis and emotional kind of completion of characters' arcs, like Cade 6 coming back, and
Have you finished this expansion at this point?
oh yeah. So
Damn.
that's what that was the main thing I really wanted to talk about was how they handled the structure of the story campaign and the conclusion of the campaign.
Which is essentially, as I understand it, the end of Destiny 2?
No.
What?
No.
I thought the final shape was supposed to be like the like this is like we just had that whole conversation about the Oscars.
No, we'll get into it. Well,
Okay.
I know, and that's why I was kind of pushing back on that is because it's not really like the thing about like what has been happening with Destiny's trajectory lately is that like it was kind of in this weird stagnated position after Lightfall, and a lot of people were saying like, all right, well, I'm going to stick around for the final shape, and then that's probably going to be it for me, right? Like, we can't really take much more of the game as it is.
Gotcha.
And people were really just kind of invested in the story. Over the last year, Bungie's kind of like tried to claw their way out of that pit, and they were doing a pretty good job for a while, like kind of making progress. And then a couple months ago, something happened, and they were just like, "We really need to up the ante here." A big contributing factor to that is that this expansion got pushed back by like 3 months.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to come out like in March. It got pushed back 3 months. So the season that we were currently on got extended by 3 months. But the story of the season didn't get extended. So basically there was like this, we have 3 months of this season kind of stagnating with the story ending. Like, what are we going to fill it with? So they came up with Into the Light, which was a free expansion that everybody got that added Horde mode. It was that thing I talked about that added that onslaught like Horde mode. It added a new sort of reprisal of fan favorite weapons. Like there was like 8 or 10 weapons from the past where most of them had been deprecated and weren't usable anymore. They had released new versions of those weapons for people to earn, and like honestly, it was incredible. Like the whole Into the Light thing was amazing and really like surprised people and got everyone excited. Like people were actually kind of like, I can't believe I'm this excited about the final shape at this point. Like it really got everybody going. And then the final shape comes out and it's like
they stuck the landing.
I mean, I never would. I had hoped that it would have been good. I never could have hoped it'd been this good though. Like it's fucking crazy good.
I mean, it might just be me reading the tea leaves, but I want to think that like a part of the delay stemmed from the feedback of the that pre-alpha for that other game
Marathon,
yeah.
Marathon, yeah, they were in a really tough spot too because it's like for a while it seemed like, I think the rumor was that they had kind of like been shifting a lot of resources from Destiny to Marathon, or at least the executives had been driving the company that way because they wanted Marathon to be like a new like main revenue source for them. And that is the kind of news that was really making people worried about the final shape.
Yeah.
But it does. I do think at some point, they were kind of like, well, we need to like rethink what's going on with Marathon, and in the meantime, we need the final shape to be good. Like basically, if the final shape flopped, Bungie might, and maybe still. I mean, who knows? Like this industry fucking sucks, right?
Yeah.
Fact.
Bungie is basically trying to not be relegated to a support studio for Microsoft. You know, like and they needed this expansion to really hit in order to avoid that fate.
Wait, you mean Sony, right?
Yeah, he
Sony.
needs Sony.
Yeah. What did I say? Yeah.
I was like, am I misremembering? I can't remember.
No, I meant Sony. Yeah.
Okay.
14 years out of date.
Oh, that's right.
Right. Yeah. So everyone was really kind of hoping that this would be good, but you know, a lot of people weren't really holding their breath, and then Final Shape drops, and it's fucking crazy. It's so good. One thing that I think this game handled the ending of the story really well, like, and the way it told it, right? Because it did something it hasn't really done before in that it made this new location, which is where we are, the Pale Heart. This new location is much more linear than previous locations. And it's kind of like representing the journey from like where we enter the Pale Heart, where like the light is at its strongest, journeying through the Pale Heart to the spire in the center where the Watcher is, where the darkness is the strongest. And you kind of go through this like psychological and emotional journey as you're getting there. This whole environment, because it is like made of these paracausal forces, is completely dreamlike. It's just like ideas and thoughts of people inside the Traveler being made manifest into like real locations. That's why this location that we're in right now is actually the tower from the first Destiny, the one that was destroyed at the beginning of Destiny 2.
Oh.
And then as we go in, there's like different like basically where different characters were in the Traveler changed to reflect those people. So there's a lot of like really wild, kind of dark places in here. And the campaign was split into 7 missions. So you do your 7 story missions, and then at the end of the campaign, you go do a boss fight against the Witness, but you don't defeat the Witness. The Witness wins, and you have to like escape.
Are we getting into spoiler territory here?
I mean, no, yes and no. I don't know, but like, I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question, Nick.
I mean, from an outsider perspective, it feels like everything Crispy is saying is so abstract that unless you're invested in Destiny, it's kind of hard to understand exactly what you're talking about.
Literally,
I don't really know
because it's doing the thing with all the common nouns or proper nouns or whatever. You know, half the time I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
What the fuck is a Traveler?
Okay. Well,
It's a big sphere with magic.
I didn't want this to just be me telling Destiny lore the whole time.
No, I don't think it should
it's-
be. I think
Let's be honest, the Destiny lore.
But it
He's
is
right.
interesting. That is what is like really cool about Destiny.
So,
But you basically do a fight that isn't the final fight. And then they release the raid, okay? So the way it usually worked before is they would release the campaign, they would give people like 10 days or 2 weeks to level up as much as they could, and then they would release the raid. And the raids are like the super difficult high-level activities. They're 6-man activities that have like all these mechanics and boss fights, and they're like the hardest content in the game, okay? Normally, the day that those raids come out, there is a world's first race where they have the raids set in what they call contest mode, where it's even harder than it will normally be.
it's the race to who completes it the first.
Yeah, to find the first fire team to finish it. And like everyone in the world is like watching all these people on Twitch like try to beat the raid. This raid was the longest race. It was the hardest raid that they've ever put out, and it was the longest race to finish. The raid team who won beat it in 18 and a half hours.
Jesus Christ.
It took them that long to figure out and beat 5 encounters. It's 5 encounters. Yeah.
That's
the one before
insane.
that.
It's
The one
actually
before
pretty
that.
cool.
The one before that was the longest was 18 hours, I think. Most of them have not been that long, but the really difficult ones were. The last one that was even close to being that long was that long because of the way the powering level worked at the time. Everyone went into the raid really underpowered. Here, it was just that hard because it was just that fucking hard. Like,
Gotcha.
it was wild. Most are like 5 or 6 hours, but this one was 18 and a half hours. And I was I think they finished the raid at 7 in the morning because I was playing. I had finished the campaign, and at the end of the campaign, they're like, the final battle's about to take place right before they launch the raid. And then they launch the raid. Everyone goes and tries to beat it. One team finally does beat it. And then Bungie drops the final mission. Like, as soon as they confirmed that a team beat the raid, they dropped the final mission into the game. I was playing the game. It was like 7 in the morning, and I was about to go to bed. I had finished the campaign, and I just saw an objective marker pop up that's like, unmake the witness. And I was like, what the fuck? So I selected it. There was a new mission available. I opened it up, and it puts me in a queue for a 12-man activity. Destiny's never had a 12-man activity before.
Okay.
They put you in a 12-man activity, and the mission is a full-on, like, assault on the Witness's Tower. It is Helm's Deep. It is the fucking Avengers Endgame everyone's been calling it.
That's pretty cool.
And it's you and 11 other Guardians fighting just like an absolute mess of enemies, along with like a mess of friendly NPCs. Like all the characters we know and love in the game are out there on the battlefield fighting with us. It's literally everybody. It's everybody, and they are like there's so many people on the field throwing so many like supers and shit like that they are just like spawning like champions and tormentors and subjugators like left and right. It is fucking ridiculous. Like
does Zavala say on your left and everybody starts crying?
You can make all the fucking jokes you want, but yes.
I mean,
I did absolutely fucking cry. Like, I did absolutely fucking cry during that final mission because, like, it is. I don't want to tell you what happens in the mission, but like that
just sounds like a really cool one.
If you go on YouTube, there's like reactions to the final like 30 minutes of this game, like through the Excision mission and the final cutscene, and like not a fucking dry eye in the house. Not a fucking
this
dry
is why
eye
you
in the
can never
house.
experience Destiny, because people who play Destiny are the people who've gone through all of it. It's this guy. You can't just have that experience. It's already too late.
I mean, I think you fucking can.
I mean, here's the thing.
Saying that because he wants to sell another copy of the game.
There's still
Why do
something.
I care if you buy a fucking copy of the game?
I think it's really fucking cool. I mean, even though I know I'll probably never get to have that specific experience, it's cool knowing, especially like if I ever got to that point, it'd be cool to know that like what it was like, having heard the story, like what it was like when it first became available, because that's pretty fucking phenomenal. Like that sounds awesome.
Do you think if Brad started playing Destiny, I would be playing Destiny with Brad? Like, I'm not like trying to sell anybody here. I'm trying to express to you that it was fucking. It was like, again, this is like 7 a.m, and all of a sudden, like this thing pops up on my screen that's like, it's time.
I'm still trying to get over.
I didn't know that was gonna happen. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't ready for it, and I was about to go to bed, and instead I like logged into this mission. Like, I haven't felt this way playing like the final mission of a game since like fucking Final Fantasy 14, like Shadowbringers or something like that, where it was just like, this is a beautiful fucking moment. Like, it's incredible. Like,
I mean,
I believe you.
That sounds so real quick, just because I just want to make sure I'm understanding it, because we had this conversation before about like Destiny 3 might be on the horizon or whatnot. So, and you just said that this is not the end of Destiny 2. So what do you mean?
Okay, so today is 1 week from the launch of the expansion, right? Today they've moved into their new content model, which they're calling episodes instead of seasons. So today was the launch of episode 1, Echoes, which is going to be a story that takes place over the next couple months, and then they're going to do another episode and then another episode. And that takes us through 2024. On Monday, they put out a little preview video of the next 3 episodes, kind of outlining what the themes and like kind of the general vibe of the episodes are going to be. So this one coming up is all about the Vex, which are like the robot people, the robot races, or the robot like bad guys, not like normal exos, but like Vex. There's one that's going to be about the Fallen that they're saying is like a vampire hunter kind of themed one. Like you're going to have like Van Helsing style armor and you become what they call Slayer
Nick's
Baron.
Attention.
Yeah, and then they're doing one about the Hive, so magic and sorcery and stuff like that. And then all they said was 2025 Destiny 2 codename Frontiers. We have no idea what that even means or what it is, but they're teasing something for next year.
Something pretty major, it sounds like.
Something pretty major. And where the story's at right now, a lot of people are saying Frontiers. Well, now we've so we've beaten the witness. Like, the forces of darkness are no longer being led by a singular voice. They're in chaos. Like, we're no longer in the same position we were in for 10 years where we were like defending Earth from encroaching darkness on all sides. So they're saying maybe now it's time to like venture out of the solar system and go to other planets, because now we have all these alien allies. Like, we have the Cabal and we have the Fallen are our allies, and both of them come from planets that they've lost. So maybe like part of what Frontiers is going to be is us going back and like retaking the Cabal homeworld of Torabottle and retaking the Fallen.
Yeah.
Man,
No,
That's a good
being
name
on this
Crispy.
fucking
It's a
podcast.
good
I
name.
fucking
You said Cora
suck.
Bottle. Hey, come on. It's a good name. Can't laugh at a good name.
hey man, I don't know what you're. I don't know. Hey, don't.
No
don't,
one is
I
allowed to
get
say
it, Nick.
that.
Nick, I get it. I get the fucking pain of having the audacity of liking things.
Oh, shut up. I laughed at Cora Bottle. It's not.
It,
I am-
it was
the world.
Tor
I get it.
with a T.
Colonialism.
With a T, you fucking bitch.
What did I say? Tora Bottle.
Jesus.
Tora Bottle.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, you're right.
I'm genuinely
Okay.
excited
I
for
was
this.
like when this was happening, I was like, I cannot wait to talk about this on the podcast, and you've just completely.
You talked about this
made
shit
me
for the past
regret it.
35 minutes with
Yeah.
a shine in your eyes, and we all responded to that with good vibes. I laugh at Tora Bottle, and you're like, oh, these guys are so rude. Stop it. Stop it.
Yes, just
Tora
Brad.
Bottle is a funny name. You said it with seriousness and gusto. I laughed. Move on.
So, what is the
Okay.
general
Well,
thought
that's what-
process for Destiny's future amongst computer? I mean, like, is Destiny
So I
3
shouldn't
an
be
actual
waiting.
thing that's going to happen?
I mean, a lot of people seem to think that that's.
Could Frontiers be what is essentially Destiny 3, but maybe they're just dropping the number?
It's probably like the last episode.
One of
right?
the things that's kind of like fueling this idea of Destiny 3 is that the leaker who leaked Prismatic before they announced it, there was a prominent leaker who told everyone about Prismatic and got a lot of stuff right, and they had said that it was originally a feature that they were planning for Destiny 3 that they decided to move up to the final shape to kind of
Which means 3 has to still exist in some form.
to kind of help juice it.
I mean,
Yeah,
theoretically,
I
but
guess.
like, if you're taking content from a future game and putting it into your existing game, you're just kind of undercutting like the content that you're putting into the third game. So you got to replace that content with something.
But it almost feels like
well,
this is like
that's
Destiny's.
true, but it's like Destiny 3, if it exists, is probably still like in pre-production. You know,
Yeah.
it's not
And,
really
like-
yeah.
in a world where like we constantly talk about like games trying to establish themselves as platforms, you know what I mean? Like the actual like games as a service, where it's like over an extended period of time. And the only reason, like, it's been kind of rocky for Destiny 2 over the past few years and whatnot, but I feel like they've maybe have found their footing. So it's kind of like, do we need to rush to Destiny 3, or can we continue to like flesh out Destiny 2?
You gotta rip the Band-Aid off at some point.
Well, at some
Yeah.
point.
Just-
I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, I feel like
I
it's
mean,
inevitably going to happen at some
People
point.
who are excited seem to be receptive to the idea of a 3 because there's always like been pretty big pie in the sky ideas of what a Destiny 3 should be that you probably couldn't just like patch into
Yeah.
2. You know what I mean?
You don't want an Overwatch situation either.
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
I'm just thinking like, you spend 10 years building up this narrative. You have a final mission that concludes the overall narrative arc of 2 whole games. And you're like, what now? Oh, we make a sequel. Where do you go from there in such a way that keeps the audience excited and coming
It's a big
back?
question.
That is a very big question.
That is a very
Probably-
big question. I mean, are you talking about gameplay wise? Are you talking narratively? Like narratively, there's a lot of shit we still don't know. Like there's and the 3 episodes we know are all touching on storylines that like have not been expanded on at all, really. So there's a lot of lore space to cover, and I think most people who are into Destiny are somewhat into the lore, and that is a big thing that kind of drives excitement.
I mean, you say that, but the thing is, Bungie historically has been very bad at managing their lore. Like,
You say historically, but you're talking about Halo.
This is the series that started with all the lore on a website. They've come a long way.
That is true.
This is
true.
not that. This is, first of all, this is not that Bungie, because anybody who was still at the company who was part of that Bungie probably got fired a couple months ago.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Second of all,
this fucking industry.
forgot about that, right? A bunch of people, including like the composers of the absolutely beautiful soundtrack that I'm listening to right now, got fired. Awful.
Well, also he was.
But
problematic.
No, that guy hasn't worked at Bungie. Fucking Marty O'Donnell.
Destiny 1.
Marty O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Hasn't worked at Bungie since Destiny 1. And
Yeah.
I thought that's who we were talking about. Sorry.
No.
He came over from Halo, I think, and
He was
Yeah.
an original Bungie guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did
Original
all the Halo
piece of shit, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, he was. Yeah, I remember seeing him post like fucking dumb shit on the Bungie forums, like when Bush was in office.
So you're
Right.
saying this isn't the last time we're going to hear you talk about Destiny 2 on this podcast?
It is, because I mean, fuck that. But
What
it's
was
not-
it? The Torah bottle? Did the Torah bottle push you over the edge?
I was already on the edge. You were like in Discord yesterday saying nobody gives a shit. Like, it's kind of hard to put myself
That
out
is
there
not,
when it's.
not only is that not true.
I'm
I said people
sorry.
who don't.
Oh no, I remember the time you posted it too.
Wait, you said I said
that
people
time
who don't
index.
play Destiny don't care about Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who listen to our podcast, and a lot of those people do play Destiny.
And you know
So
what?
Get over it.
I'm gonna.
Ain't
I'm
nobody
uninstalling-
care about the fucking altars, which I'm about to talk about.
Hey,
but,
Crispy.
Yeah, but you
I just
don't
want
care
you to
about
know.
the altar.
Crispy, I just want
It
you to know.
doesn't matter.
I'm going to uninstall Rise of the Ronin tonight and install Destiny 2.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
That's I don't think that's a solution. You're gonna uninstall Rise of the Ronin, and it has nothing to do with Destiny.
Yeah,
let's
no,
be real.
that's actually probably true.
So
Has
that end,
everything
I do
to
have
do with
I do have a question, Crispy. Ahead of, because it was widely reported that they were removing content that was old stuff ahead of the final shape. But I heard that they brought some stuff back. Like, if I wanted to get into Destiny today as a brand new player, like, what can I play beyond the
All of
final
it.
shape?
You're wild. Is this a serious question?
Chris Davis, if you do it, I'll do it. We can do it together.
No, I'm not
Fuck
going
you.
to play Destiny
you
2
can
again.
play-
Season this man.
You can play every expansion back to the moon one. What was
The moon?
called?
Like
No,
Tyrion
what was
Lannister's the moon?
No, that was like literally the first 5 minutes of the
Just-
original Destiny, Brad.
Stop talking.
I played the beta for the original Destiny, and
So
that was
did
the
I.
last time I played Destiny.
Yeah, I
But,
played the beta
It's
too.
pretty cool.
You can go
Peter Pan.
back through. Jesus fucking Christ! Load. So they have a new thing now called the Legacy Collection, which does Beyond Light. Oh, so Beyond Light and Shadowkeep are free already. So if you're free to play player, you can start at Shadowkeep and then play Beyond Light. Or
It's one of
Beyond
the
Light
best
Shadowkeep.
values in gaming.
And then if you buy the Legacy Collection, you get Lightfall, Witch Queen, the Bungie 30th Anniversary Pack.
I might have some questions for you after this podcast.
Yeah, let's.
Or during the break.
Yeah. So
Is Chris
of
Davis being
all
sincere?
the of all the expansions that have been released, you can still access 5 of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
5.
cool with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Are there any
5
Destiny
including
books? Are there any Destiny books?
No
There's not?
Oh wow.
novels. No, it's all online.
That's actually kind of surprising.
Most of it's in the game. Like most of it,
That's
there are
what
lore books in the game.
Hell yeah.
Sounds dry.
It's very dry. Unless you like the lore and like reading, you fucking Philistine.
Hey, well,
they're not voice acted.
They're not voice acted.
I am going
I'm
to.
super out.
I am going to legitimately give this some serious consideration.
I will not sit here and let these men lie to you. These grown ass men lie to you, Crispy.
No, I'm serious.
I am
man.
happy you are happy, but these men are. I don't know what they're doing, but they are full of shit.
But
no, I am not.
Chris,
I'm not in a position that I want to
wrong.
start Destiny 2 again.
Chris,
I was genuinely curious.
Wouldn't it be funny if you did?
I'm serious, but that's neither here nor there. Let's
come
shift
on, Nick.
gears.
Let's do it. Let's
fucking
do
go.
some strikes. Let's do some strikes.
Fucking go. Let's prove this man wrong. But in the meantime, let's shift gears. It is
Crispy,
Summer Game
I just want to say I am so happy for you that you finally got to find out that it was in fact a rhombus.
Destiny 2 is good again. Like, come on, like that's awesome.
That's all I've been waiting for, man.
What a win!
It is a win.
You are happy for me.
There's
I
over
get it.
200,000 concurrents right now. They don't need 2 more knuckleheads. Crispy's in good shape, and so is 250,000 people. We're doing good.
Listen. Don't worry about him. So real quick, it is Steam Next Fest right now, which is coinciding with Summer Game Fest, and I know Brad, you played a demo for the Altars, which is the game you picked up for Fantasy Critic, if I recall.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to play that demo. Not just because I picked it up for Fantasy Critic, but because I think the Altars genuinely seems interesting. I think it's a really ambitious project for the studio, and it's where to start? It's a weird one. So this is a
Fallout Shelter.
You can you do kind of like craft rooms in your base and choose where you want to place them, and you got to have the elevator space. You got to move shit around. There is a bit of base building here. You do hang out a lot in your base, like crafting things and talking to altars.
This is the game where you were. Well, I know you're about to.
Let me set it up. This is I guess it's a survival game. It's a story game where you are stranded on an alien planet of sorts, and all your crew is dead, and you have this base, and you're just trying to survive, but you're all alone. Then you find this resource. Well, there's a mysterious voice from some company that's very staticky. It's very alien, who's kind of telling you, hey, man, you need to get some of this resource, and like, dog, you need to clone yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. Because like the only person that's going to help you is yourself. So you find this resource on this alien planet called Rapidium or whatever. And Rapidium lets you create clones. First you do a sheep, and then the company's like, dude, you need to do yourself, homie. And so you clone yourself. So it's a survival story game where you are. It's a Strand like, maybe, if you will.
I was like, people in chat are calling this. I can't tell if there's.
This is not a combat game. There's no combat as far as I'm aware. This is a survival game where you're going out to get resources, to craft things. But it is so
like
very
satisfactory.
No, because it's not really deep with the survival mechanics from what I've seen. So this demo very much seems like the start of the game, right? And there's a lot to do and establish during that start of the game, and a lot to do and establish during that demo. You basically play the first chapter of the game. Stuff kind of like moves along at a clip. Like you're going from, getting metals and materials from the land to like talking to a clone of yourself pretty quickly. And I feel like the game kind of has to like, get. It's a little weird. It's almost crazy how quickly that happens. I don't think it's for the necessarily for the sake of the demo. I don't know how far this game is out. They do say 2024, but I do think this is more or less just kind of how the game starts. It has to move at a certain pace because it's a very big, ambitious story to some extent, because the core hook of the game is not just these survival elements. At least in this first chapter, the survival crafting elements seem very light and very guided, almost like tutorialized, right? I feel like I have very little agency as to what I can do as far as like playing this as a survival game, to the point where
I feel like that's how most survival games start, right? They like
No. This is super guided. Like they're pretty much telling you what to do. There's pretty much like one spot where you can get one kind of resource and another spot where you can get another kind of resource. And beyond that, like this is very much a game guided by not just the tutorial, but like the story, which is the fact that you are not just creating an altar for yourself. You are, having conversations with them. You're seeing like little like mood, like you see little like mood bubbles floating around your altar as you're having a conversation with them, because hey, this altar is kind of like, hey, who the fuck am I, what's going on here, hey, I'm you,
We're having
you
existential
fucking created
crises.
me and you need help with your base, fuck you, and you're like having conversations with them to try to like be like, no man, we're cool.
No, come on, just let me use your slave labor.
It's a really ambitious topic and like theme for a game that it's so weird. So ultimately you're going to be creating these altars and working with them to succeed in the survival game. Like I think you just saw me like farming a resource for myself. Like in the future, I believe I could just have altars do that for me, kind of go out into the world and come back. But it does have this survival game framework, like where you get tired, you eventually have to go back, you have to rest, you can't keep doing stuff out in the world. You have to eat food, your base needs a certain, protection, that sort of thing. I created this little energy pipeline or whatever.
It's looking like a Strand game to me.
Yeah, but again, that stuff seems very light and very guided, and I don't know like how deep it's going to be, because the game almost seems more concerned with all this narrative stuff. So I needed an engineer, and I'm not an engineer, and I need an engineer to help with something in the base. Otherwise I was going to die. So I literally went into like a timeline of my memories since I was a baby and altered a certain point in my life, like big key decisions. And you
altered the memory of that certain point in your life.
At this key point in my life, this memory, I made a different choice. I stayed home with my sick mother instead of going off to college or whatever. And that creates a whole other path of memories that made me go from the fucking science nerd I am to becoming like an engineer or whatever. And that's
weird.
The altar I created with this change in my timeline. And that's how you create all these different altars. And there's like, if you've seen a trailer, there's like all these different altars. Like one of them has a guitar. Like what the fuck did I do during my life to make me throw away my science background and become a rock star? I don't fucking know.
The scientists can't play guitars. We all know this.
Structure. And you're having conversations with all these altars. At one point, I went into my memories and kind of read up on some stuff so I can like find some like, because had a pretty hostile relationship with this altar. And it was like, hey man, remember mom? And he's like, yeah, mom. And like we eventually started bonding over like our mom's pierogies. And eventually me and this altar made pierogies together. And now we're like buds. It's like a cool idea, but it was very guided. And I'm not sure the game, first of all, the very nature of a survival game, but also the nature of like how these hostile relationships and like saying things to not piss off your altars. Again, mood bubbles. There's also like negative ones that say like rebellion and anxiety and stuff. It feels like a game that has to have fail states, real fail states. Otherwise, this genre doesn't work and this story doesn't work. But I also feel like none of my choices really mattered. And it was just very linear, like in terms of the story it was telling. And I don't know if that's because it's a chapter 1 sort of thing, because
I mean, this map
purportedly this is a very like systemic game, right? Where like, I'm choosing where to put rooms in my base. Like I'm moving stuff around. It seems like a game that is driven by systems. That's what a survival game is. But and even though I'm going out to do things and I'm making choices in conversation, it really feels like none of that matters. Like when I recorded footage, I literally picked the opposite dialogue choice and choice for every single conversation I had with this person, and it changed nothing.
That's maybe more telling than anything you've said up to this point. But I also feel like the nature of survival games in general is that it's a really. I feel like it must be a really hard thing to demo effectively because.
But this isn't. This
Every
doesn't feel
survival
like a
game-
demo at all. This feels like the first chapter of the game,
And it could be.
which is
I mean,
maybe
it very much
fine
could
that
be.
it's so guided and linear, but
I mean, it's the job of a demo to like express what the game is going to be effectively. And it sounds like maybe. I mean, the hope is maybe the.
what is the
demo
job of a
does-
chapter 1 of a game though? Like this, because I mean
I-
that's really I think what this is. You literally
Right.
start on day 1.
Right, and I think maybe that was maybe a mistake, because for me, like survival games have always been a build-up, a ramping up of mechanical systems. So they always start very. To me, they've always felt kind of guided at first, and then as you get more and you learn to understand the environment more and you find more resources, things start to become more and more complex.
Yeah.
But they always start pretty narrow. So like starting at the beginning of any survival game to me seems strange for a demo.
Yeah, but this doesn't start like a survival game then, because it's not even close to how you start off in. Like I played several survival games and
Right.
nothing starts out like this. This is guided by the narrative, and I'm just curious as to like how complex is it going to get as a survival game or a systems game, and even in terms of like my interactions with these altars, like even the kinds of altars I choose to create, will I even have a choice in that? The trailer definitely shows different kinds of altars, but I'm saying I'm not sure there's ever going to be a point where I pull up the timeline of my memories and choose one thing over another,
And have
unless
it make a difference.
that other thing is going to come like right after. Like I don't get the vibe that I'm going to have much agency in a game, in a setting, in a genre where I feel like agency is everything. And I feel like that's a little. I feel like they're trying
So are
to
you
have
a
their
little
cake and eat
worried?
it too, and I don't think they can do both. And I don't think the game is going to pull it off unless this is a much bigger project than I'm realizing. Which is
What's the name of the
possible.
studio again? This is it 11-bit? No.
This is 11-bit. Yeah, the creators of
Okay.
Frostpunk and This War of Mine. Which
I mean, those
so
games
this
are
War
pretty
of Mine
systemic.
is a pretty like systemic game, and Frostpunk is
Yes.
of course a very systemic game. So I believe that they can make that kind of game, but again, wrapping it in this narrative seems super ambitious, because you can't just it can't just be a good video game if this is a game where all of the characters are just various personalities of the same person. That's like an ambitious project even for the actor, because
Yeah.
like I mean, maybe he's gonna be doing different accents, like, oh, then I left home and moved to Texas and now I sound like a cowboy.
And then-
I doubt it.
Just make a small change
and
like that, and all of a
is a
sudden you say
certain
he
type
speaks
of-
Russian. You're like, what?
Everyone has
Like-
a cowboy altar.
I mean, but you see what I'm saying? Like I'm only, and most of the times where I have choices, it's only like it's only two choices in these conversations, and they don't really seem all that different. Some are, I mean, they're a little different, but I mean, am I going to choose to talk to one kind of altar a certain way versus another, like an Alpha Protocol situation? I doubt it. So
So
I don't.
the more I think about it, the more I'm like, this maybe makes sense, because their games are pretty complex, the ones that they've made in the past, and I feel like this is maybe has the potential to be one of the most complex they've ever made, and I just don't think you could throw someone into the deep end of a game like that and expect them to have any fucking idea what's going on.
I know. I get it. Even if the game is complex, the chapter 1 has to be pretty like chill or whatever, right?
Right.
I get it, but it also seems like a isometric fucking city builder or whatever, like Frostpunk, survival city town builder,
Right.
interface wise, like you're accomplishing so much with like just a handful of clicks. Even This War of Mine was a side scrolling, game where you're just kind of scavenging from room to room, and they kind of like weave narrative stuff in there pretty well. It's more like a State of Decay, honestly, like a side scrolling State of Decay without zombies, just bad people. There's a lot to like, it's cumbersome, like getting shit done in this game. I feel like to some extent, to the point where I get into conversations with alters and I'm talking to one person for a long time. It doesn't feel breezy or snappy. Like it almost feels like this kind of has to be more of a story game than a systems game. Otherwise, it's gonna no one's ever
you-
going to finish it.
Are you regretting your draft or your?
I played
pickup?
this game for like a few hours. I mean, and I feel like I'm nowhere. But unless this game is just not what I think it is, I'm saying this game could be 80 hours or it could be 10 hours, and I have no idea.
Well, then the demo didn't do its job.
And stop asking me about Fantasy Critic. I have no fucking idea. I'm just thinking about this game as a game because it's
you
very
telling me to stop asking about
strange.
Fantasy
But,
Critic.
like, the tension of like trying to tell a story versus super being a genre that traditionally stays very far away from a story.
I just think you're not going to get answers to any of those questions until we have the whole picture. Like,
yeah, we need the whole picture. But like, let me tell you, it's ambitious, and if they can pull it off, like, I'm already like excited to like create some new alters. And by the end of it, like, both these dudes were like pretty stoked about, yeah, let's make another dude. And then like the demo ends. I mean, I don't know. Like, is it? I feel like it wants to be emotional too, you know, and like anti-corporation, you know, like Alien or whatever kind of, right? I mean, it's doing a lot. It's doing a lot. But I guess this War of Mine was doing a lot. And Frostpunk,
I think most
like,
of their
it was
games can be
a
described that way.
survival town builder, but it was also like, do you want to like implement slave labor or cut off every third man's arm? You got to choose, you know, like, it was heavy stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool. It's a cool game. Like it's cool that most demos, I feel like, during Next Fest are like, you know, just little, you know, pixel games and like,
how dare you,
games that are going to launch in early access. Like, this feels like a big ass video game, and it's cool to have a demo for it because most of the
Game with
demos
some
aren't
meat.
really like this. You know, not just the meat, just like ambition and like
potatoes,
money. It's just weird. It's cool. I don't know. This game could get very high scores, and then I could see it getting scores that say, I don't know what this is. They were trying lots of things, and I'm not sure they succeeded on any of them. But again,
only
that's
time
just
will tell.
basing it off of chapter 1,
which is all you have to go on. All right. Well, only time will tell. This is supposed to come out this year, so maybe we'll find out sooner rather than later.
I could
don't
also
know.
see this slipping. Again, this is a game that doesn't have like even a month. It just says 2024, and again, it seems big.
Yeah.
I'm glad there's a demo because they'll get lots of feedback. But like, the reception I've seen from like forums and trailers, like comments and stuff and threads, like, people are like, seem super jazzed about them doing this because it seems like a really cool project. And you know what was good? That movie Moon.
Yeah.
And Alien.
Yeah.
And Death Stranding was also cool. You know, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I
agree with
feel
all
like,
those statements.
I feel like there's good hype for this game. I think there's more confusion than hype about this game. Like,
Well, there's a demo out now, Mr. Davis.
I think they need to do more than just a demo. I think they need to do like a Rockstar style like series of introductions.
They have, and there was even a big
They
preview
have?
where they invited, you know, where like media covered it. You know, you can watch long previews, people discussing this
Really?
game. It's out there, homie.
But also, don't forget, it's you know, the marketing for this game is not done. This isn't the last thing, you know, nail before the in the coffin before this thing drops. Like, there will be more to come.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. All right.
I would like to see some late game survival mechanics.
That would be helpful. Okay, I want to take a break because when we come back, we're gonna talk about Summer Game Fest, just in general. We're gonna talk about the highlights, the things we liked, some of the things we didn't like. I know Brad wants to have a little conversation about Dragon Age Veilguard, and then of course we'll wrap up with the 4-player minute. So if you're watching us live on Twitch or YouTube, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Veilguard just sounds bad coming. I mean, it just feels bad.
It doesn't
to
roll
say.
off the tongue like Dreadwolf.
Yeah. Veilguard. The Veilguard.
What is 798?
798. All right, I'm going to look something up here.
The Veilguard. You know what's a good name? Fucking Dreadwolf. That's a fucking good name.
Why did they change it?
I heard
it
because they
depends on
want
who you-
to shift the focus from Solus to the team. which is the Veilguard.
Lame.
It sounds like he's not going to be like the big bad like everyone was expecting.
Well, he's definitely in the game because he's the main part of that gameplay demo.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm looking at Destiny 2 on Amazon here, and one thing I didn't account for is that this game has now spanned 2 platforms. So I guess the way to go is digital.
I think you should start with Destiny 1. I think you would be a fool to start with Destiny 2.
I'm not falling for your shenanigans.
You do know there's like story content that doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah. You know,
I just found my 4-player minute.
I thought you would have already had it.
Nope. I usually make it up off the cuff.
White Burrow says Destiny is crap, so I mean if we're gonna trust anyone here.
You're on both, Marlu, and we appreciate it.
I will be right back.
You know, I don't know. It is one of the most wishlisted games, the Altars from the Next Fest. But then again, I mean, I feel like, is this a bomb waiting to happen? I feel like nobody in our Discord is talking about it, you know? Maybe it's just not really.
I mean, it's just so weird what this game is.
Why is it weird?
It's kind of hard to wrap your head around. Like
Slitterhead? Is it weirder than Slitterhead?
Wait, are we talking about the Altars or Slitterhead? I'm sorry.
No, why is the Altar so weird? All video games are weird. What do you mean?
I mean, just like wrapping your head around creating clones based on life decisions and then deploying those clones and the systems driven stuff that happens beyond the interactions. Like it's a lot to kind of grasp.
It's ambitious.
It's ambitious. I'm not saying that it's not.
I want to make sure I want the dev to say this is going to become a deep, complex survival game, because based on that first chapter and that first area you're in, and maybe it really is just a tutorial, but I don't even see that the game has the bones for that. It doesn't even feel like it has the bones for a deep, complex game. It was so guided. It was almost like there was a set amount of like materials to farm. It was like, you need to make this, you need to farm this, so go to this node and now you can make this, and now we're progressing this story, and now you need to get this material to make this, so you're going to go to the pretty much the one place it is on this area to get that material, and you're going to get that material, and then you're going to come back so you can make this thing the game told you to make, and now we're going to have more story stuff. It just seems so guided and expedited, and it I feel like it had so much ground to cover in that first chapter that it almost didn't have any room to let the player stretch its legs. And
I mean, when you're making a demo like of a game this complex,
again, not
like,
a demo,
maybe you just have
one,
to do that.
I really don't think this is. I would really be surprised if the final game is not what I just played. I would be very surprised.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Like as a first chapter. Yeah. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just like, even, yeah, I don't know. I want it to be at least like Subnautica-esque. And it's not that. It's just not that.
I don't think that was ever an intention of theirs.
Well, I mean, I don't fucking know. What do you know about their intentions?
Just about as much as you, man. If not less.
I've heard interviews, and the interviews are mostly them just describing what I've played and what I've seen in trailers, which is just sort of kind of just what I played. Hmm. I don't know anything about this game beyond what I've pretty much experienced already from like everything I've been trying to find out about this game, which is
I'll be right back.
weird. I need them to show me what a late game loop looks like. Hmm. All right, I'll be back.
Come back and nobody's here. It's just empty.
I had to pee.
The kitty is in the bedroom with the wife. Both kitties. For now. That's probably going to change soon.
They'll come back.
They always do.
Well, you dared to have a door closed. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Crazy. I'm looking at this interview, like an official post. The developer posted a little not a Q&A, like on it's like a pinned post in the Steam forums about their inspirations for the game, and like so much of the inspiration is story stuff. Like he's referencing United States of Terra and the documentary Three Identical Strangers and stuff. It's like these motherfuckers are making a story game.
What's wrong with the story game?
Devs by Alex Garland. What's wrong with the story game? Let's not be silly, Nick. It's what I talked about. It's sort of the fact that one thing seems to be at odds with like the very design of everything else. I don't mind that they would be doing a story game. It just doesn't make sense in this format.
Mm-hmm. Wait, is Alex Garland involved in this somehow? Why is
No.
Rogue Jaeger talking about Alex Garland all of a sudden?
Because I just mentioned Alex Garland as an
Oh.
inspiration for this.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I must have missed that part.
Acclaimed writer of DMC and Enslaved.
I mean, 2 fun games.
Hell yeah, Chris Davis. Hell yeah.
I think DMC gets a lot more shit than it deserves.
What, for its story? Because we're talking about Alex Garland here.
Well, I'm mainly talking about the entirety of its existence, but
Yeah, I don't think anybody is talking about. Do you think Alex Garland added much to the story of DMC? I mean,
I don't know what he did. I didn't know the man's name until a few years ago.
okay, I'm saying, how was the story in DMC?
It's probably the best story of all of Devil May
its
Cry.
moment.
I mean, it feels like a cohesive story. Not certain I can say that
Story.
much for the rest of the franchise.
What does that mean? That's a meaningless statement.
I mean,
you're saying from one game to another, or like,
I understand what's happening at the beginning, the middle, and the end of that story.
and that's cohesiveness to you?
Yes.
I don't know if
Maybe-
I necessarily
sounds like
concur with Chris Davis's assessment. I wouldn't use cohesive.
Yeah, I mean,
as the
Devil
term.
May Cry 3 had a dope story. And personally, it's my favorite story of the series.
Well, I mean, again, I'm speaking from my perspective. I didn't finish 3.
Oh my god! Wait, how many Devil May Cry games have you finished?
None.
1 and 2.
Or what?
Wait, 1 and 2 and DMC.
Okay, yeah, I guess DMC. So yeah, 3.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna fall back into my.
Well, you
general
didn't play the
stance,
best
which is that-
ones.
Look, all I'm saying is I like most Devil May Cry games not for the story, and I like DMC for the story more than the gameplay.
Oh.
Even though,
But see, I also don't like games for the story. But I think Devil May Cry 3 is the best story and a lot better than DMC's story, and probably better than any. It's probably the only one with a really cool story, and honestly, in my opinion, but I think it's awesome. Awesome.
I do like the story. I do like the story of Devil May Cry 3. Pretty much DMC and Devil May Cry 3 are the only ones that I'd say I actively enjoy the story. Every other one is mostly just there. And I wish I could say I liked Devil May Cry 5, but for whatever reason, I
mean,
did
the story
not-
of 1
I
and
did
2
not
were,
enjoy that
like,
game.
1 barely had a story. 2 was a fucking mess. 3, I think, was the one that like established so much of the identity of the characters and that the story
gave us
of that
Lady.
series. Yeah, among many things. Yeah, that's the one, man. Like that's the one where, Bayonetta comes from DMC 3. I feel like, it's not, Kamiya created Devil May Cry, and he didn't. Devil May Cry 3 was very much an Itsuno project, but like the cutscene director on Devil May Cry 3 is the same cutscene director on Bayonetta. Like the way the vibe of those games, the verve, is very much in the shit that motherfucker did. Which I believe he's also responsible for the movie Versus. Have you ever seen Versus?
Nope.
Let's see.
can't say that I have.
The 2 things I know about Versus is that the director contributed the cinematics for Twin Snakes, and he eventually helped with the 2004 Godzilla movie.
Well, are we talking about the same person?
Yes.
Okay. So you do know who I'm referring to.
Are we ready to start?
Let me Just
I
to be
am
safe, I'm
recording.
gonna
Go.
Save this.
Let's
I'm going to
fucking
export it real
go.
quick.
Yeah, we got.
Man, now I want to play DMC. Do I own that game on PC?
Probably.
I don't.
Well, you can change that real quick.
That game can't be that much at this point, right? Is it on? Is it? It's only $7.49. I can do that.
Wait, DMC or Devil May Cry 3? I'm sorry.
DMC.
DMC Devil May Cry.
Ooh, and it's Steam Deck verified. Look at that.
If you go to Game Billet, you can get it for $5.74.
Dude, it's it's $7.49. It's fine. Anyways, I'll do that later. I'm ready to start. Y'all ready to start?
Okay. I am.
Let's go.
OBS. Or not OBS. Audacity.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right, I'm recording. Brad, you recording?
Yes. No. Hold on.
I'm recording.
I'm not sure what's happening
Not recording
here.
you. Test.
Kivino, thank you for following.
All right, I'm recording.
Cool. Hey, all right, roll call starts right now. Brad.
Yep.
I'm going to need more than
Hello.
Thank you. Crispy.
Hello.
Chris Davis.
This is part of the sound test sync. This is how you greet Nick so he can actually match up our stuff.
Okay, that was a little bit much. Calm down, killer. Okay. Welcome back to the show.
I feel like Nick has not said "calm down, killer" in a while. Wait, that's more of a Nolan thing.
That's more of a
You
Nolan
rip it off
thing.
Nolan?
I mean, somebody has to. Nolan's not here tonight.
Fucking dare you?
All right, so
Dragon
as I mentioned, okay, no setup at all, just diving straight
Fuck
into
it. Everyone
Summer
knows what they're here for. Most people. Do we even have ads during the ad break?
What?
During our breaks, do we have ads
No.
On
the podcast?
No.
Okay, so like these people never even went anywhere. They've been we left, and a second later they're just. I hope Brad talks about Dragon Age now, right?
I guess
So?
so. Okay, well, I was gonna more set up Summer Game Fest in general, just in terms of
Yeah.
it's been a big week. We've had several showcases. We talked about a couple of them last week. This week we've since had the official Summer Game Fest showcase from
It
Jeff
sucked.
Keighley.
Yep,
It sucked. We've had the Xbox showcase, which did not suck. We've had the Ubisoft, whatever they call it. What do they call it?
Ubisoft Forward, which did suck.
It depends on who you ask. For me, it was exactly what I needed, but I totally get why you say that.
I think it was a boring.
They always do boring showcases, but they had good games to show.
It's not that it sucked. It's that they showed Assassin's Creed and Outlaws, and that's pretty much it. And that's all everyone was there for. And we saw
and
that.
Shadows and Assassin's Creed Shadows.
That's what I said.
You said Outlaws.
Outlaws and Assassin's Creed. Those are the two games people showed up for, and that was pretty much all they had. And then they showed those, and it was.
But we're gonna go into all that stuff in more detail. I just wanted to set it up for you. Now you were desperate to have this conversation about Dragon Age, which we finally.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's definitely like the biggest topic of the day, right?
I guess it depends on who you ask.
So look, Nick, the thing is, Outlaws is going to be your game of the year, or fucking Assassin's Creed. That's fine, but those are so much known quantities.
Such an asshole.
No, but am I wrong?
I don't fucking know.
She floated down in a bubble, dog. Look,
I have said that Outlaws is probably my most anticipated game of the year.
I'm saying they're known quantities. We've seen that game before. We know what Assassin's Creed is. Dragon Age was a big question mark. That BioWare has been gone for like a fucking decade. They have so much to prove. There's so much writing on this. They can't handle 3 L's after Anthem and bad Mass Effect. They have to have a win. You know? People were like, what is this game? It was in development hell. It started out as a games as a service game. They've rebooted this game maybe twice. And now it's here. And that's why I think it's a big deal. You know what I mean?
I mean, I was not trying to undersell it. I do agree that it is a big deal.
A big deal. Especially, and we
I'm
talked
going
about
to
it
let you
before
talk
the
about
podcast, and we don't have to get into it now, but they revealed themselves again with a cinematic trailer that made many people not happy. But they have since showed off some gameplay, and now the opinions are more delightfully mixed than universally negative, minus Nick.
I've also noticed a lot of critics who were at the play days, the Summer Game Fest thing, who are very much in the camp of this is my highlight of the show.
Yeah,
Take
but
that
but
with-
again, I
take
feel
that
like
however
so
you
much
will.
of it has been known quantities. This was a surprise. I feel like a lot of people, and I could definitely see critics, were like pretty down on like I feel like expectations were in the toilet for Dragon Age. Just modern BioWare. I don't even think people were already kind of like iffy about Inquisition. I mean, some people liked it, but some people didn't. I feel like expectations for Dragon Age were in the toilet, especially after that cinematic trailer where most people agreed that this thing sucks. And so some of those same critics, Nicholas, who were happy about the gameplay, said the same fucking thing. That cinematic trailer sucked, but you know what? The gameplay was cool. And
Why
who
did you
here
just
has
come at
seen?
me like that? Like,
Because you rolled your eyes, bitch.
I
This
did
is a
roll-
video call.
I did roll my eyes.
The Is everybody here seen the gameplay? 20 minutes.
Yes.
Nope.
Crispy, please.
I have not.
Is it showing now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Are you looking at it now, Crispy?
I will be once this ad finishes.
Okay. Well, this doesn't resemble Dragon Age. They've made a bit of an action RPG, I guess. Action.
Well,
game.
okay, real quick, let me dissect that for a second because Dragon Age, I don't think has had a consistent genre. Like it's almost been an inconsistent genre since the beginning. Like it started. Dragon Age Origins is a very different game from Dragon Age 2, which is a very different game from Dragon Age Inquisition. So this is, I mean,
Sort of.
I mean,
This doesn't feel like an evolution of that. This feels like a.
I don't think any game has felt like an evolution of the game that came
See,
before it.
I completely disagree. I think from Dragon Age Origins to 2 to 3, it was definitely like a speeding up. Because if you played Dragon Age Origins on 360, it was sort of like a behind the back camera kind of game. It wasn't that isometric Baldur's Gate experience necessarily like it was on PC. You were down in the shit. And
And it looked like
aiming your cone of cold. Well, I mean, it was an old game.
360
What do you
on
want?
360. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, I think Dragon Age Origins is a nice looking game, but it was not designed to be played from that perspective necessarily. And I feel like 2 and 3 was an evolution of that, where they were trying to speed it up to make it feel like a game that is played from that perspective. If you play Dragon Age Origins on a console, right?
Sure.
and along the way they did lose like the complexity of the tactics menu, but Dragon Age 2 had the tactics menu just like the first game, where you were doing the AI scripts Final Fantasy 12 style. I think by the time they got to Inquisition, God, correct me if I'm wrong, like I'm pretty sure that was gone. But you could still switch characters. You still had like pretty complex like skill trees and stuff. Like it was a speeding up of that, what I think was pretty much core to all of those games. This seems like a completely different vision for how you approach combat in a Dragon Age games. This seems like like an action game. Like it really does. Like an action RPG, like you're playing the fucking Witcher or something. And Dragon Age was never that. It was a party-based RPG. Even if they sped it up, and moved the camera a little bit closer from entry to entry, it was still a party-based RPG where you were thinking about those compositions, you were thinking about your build, you were thinking about your skill tree. That shit mattered. This feels like a game where reflexes matter. Like if you watch this combat, he is keeping enemies at bay by moving he is striking this enemy and striking that enemy, and right before this enemy hits him over here, he is mid combo turning his blade, doing dodges. This is a very different vision for Dragon Age. Now
we live in a post Dark Souls world now, which Well, I
I wasn't
guess
saying Dark Souls either. But see,
no, but I'm saying the action
it's the fact
RPG.
that a game like this is probably never going to feel more like it's never going to feel like that party based RPG like Dragon Age used to. Now, I do think it's probably a little bit more like Mass Effect, and some people are okay with that. A lot of people like Mass Effect, but I look at this gameplay, and this to me this looks like Mass Effect with swords way more than it does like a Dragon Age game.
Even then, I feel like that might be a bit of a stretch. But also, can I just say, I mean, look, you're
I
also
mean, you can't switch to your party members. You trigger their abilities the same way you trigger their abilities in Mass
Right.
Effect. You have
Right.
one or two guys with you, and their ability is on the same wheel that I believe your abilities are.
The angle
you
that I'm
pull up.
coming from, here, admittedly, as someone who played about 10 hours of Dragon Age Inquisition, never left the hinterlands, and has not touched it
Okay.
since.
Sure.
And having played all the way through Dragon Age Origins and 2, after those two games, I can say that the thing that has always been far more important to me in a Dragon Age game is the story and its characters.
Okay.
I've
Sure.
never felt like I've just never really cared too much about what form the combat
Okay.
takes.
So this is where I say,
personally.
good for you. You're bad, but that's okay. We don't have to argue about it. The thing is, I agree with you to some extent. I think most Dragon Age fans and BioWare fans, they're there for the characters. They're there for those relationships. And while I do firmly believe that cinematic trailer sucked ass, the actual interactions and the writing and the character moments and the stuff that you see throughout this like 20 minutes is fine to good. Like that stuff is good, especially seeing Varric confronting Solus at the end there. There's like real like you feel like there's real emotional stakes there. These are characters that were companions in a previous Dragon Age game, on the good side, and you're like, there's tension in that moment. It's that moment of like everyone is telling him, "Nah, dude, don't fuck with this guy," and he's like, "Nah, let me talk to him. I know this guy." It's like that moment, and like everyone's like, "Dude, you're gonna die." Like I'm already invested in like this story because, and granted, maybe I owe that to characters, like a bit of a Mass Effect 3 thing, right? Like I owe that to characters and relationships that have already been established, Sure. And I don't really know these new characters, but like that stuff seems like what I expect from a Dragon Age game. All I'm saying is that it just doesn't feel like a big party based RPG like Dragon Age does. This feels like a very different thing. And you might disagree, but I'm not even saying that's a
I
bad
just don't
thing.
care that much.
Yeah, sure.
That's all I'm
You
saying.
can say that too, but I assure you there are people who do care and will care. And while it's not 95% thumbs down like that cinematic trailer, you look at the response to the gameplay 20 minutes and it's about half and half. There's about half thumbs downs, half thumbs up. So there are definitely people who are like, okay, this is good. I mean, I'm okay with this, right? Right. Obviously everyone panned that first thing. Some people are happy and that's good. Maybe they should have led with this. In fact, I believe if they led with this and not that cinematic thing, there probably would not even be as many thumbs downs on this gameplay reveal as there are. I think it put people off on a really bad foot, and like people are just now they're looking for blood, honestly. But
such as the way of the fucking internet.
With that said,
I don't know.
it seems like a well polished experience, right? It doesn't seem like I feel like a lot of games, from this year, like your Dragon's Dogmas and stuff, like you feel like they're barely holding together, right? And this feels like a really polished demo, and it needed to be, right? Like this is a game that has so much to prove and so much to live up to that they can't really deal with having like it be a technical mess on top of it, right? Like that was like the nail in the coffin for Mass Effect Andromeda, right? It wasn't that people were already like upset that they were doing this new stuff and maybe they didn't really like the characters and this new vision for the series, but the fact that it was like a technical disaster on top of it at launch, Mass Effect Andromeda, just made it so easy for people to become like a hate mob. So it's good to see Dragon Age being like, nice, smooth, polished looking in this demo, because I don't think they could have survived it otherwise.
Which is also why I said we were talking earlier before the show about when we think this game is coming, because they've said 2024, but no hard month or day or anything like that. And we're talking about the potential for it to slip. And I was like, I don't think they can afford to one, release this game before it's ready from a technical standpoint, and I don't think they can afford to mention a year, like any form of release window, and then push it out of that window, because people are so ready to just get out their pitchforks when it comes to BioWare right now, which makes me think.
Something tells me the reason a game like this would be vague about the date really has nothing to do with.
I don't think they would have mentioned even a year if they didn't feel confident.
I don't think it's confidence. I think what it is we're going to show this, and depending on how people react to it, we are either going to release this fall or we're going to release sometime next year or after that. Because I think we're at a point where, like, look at Cyberpunk. I mean, look at these big failures and these turnarounds. And, like, obviously there are things people do not want and there are things people do want. Obviously that cinematic trailer, do not want. And I mean, the whole life of this game has been them pivoting to what people want or they think people want, right? This started as games as a service. It makes sense that it's an action game now, because a game you play with other people is not what Dragon Age was before. It's maybe what it is now.
But this is confirmed not a games as a service. In fact, they've been very
again,
clear about that.
It was born as one, right? It was born as one, and I think a big game like this, like a Fable, like a Perfect Dark, like a whatever, is like, it's a hold your breath moment for the developer, where they put themselves out there and let's see what the people say, because we might need to make some fucking changes. And you know what? A lot of times that's for the better. I think we're in a weird place with this one, but I think what's that?
It didn't do shit for Suicide Squad.
Well,
Suicide Squad got a whole year.
I'm sure it could have been worse, man.
I think the thing we have to think about here is that no matter what BioWare wants, it's up to EA about when they launch this thing.
Sure, of course.
That's true.
And I don't think EA is really in lockstep with what the community wants.
No, but I mean, EA has just as much writing on this as well. I mean, like, they've spent a lot of money. I mean, this game's been in development for a long time. You know, they need this to be a success. You know, everyone is looking at, like, what happened with, like, Cyberpunk and stuff and Redfall. You know, everyone's terrified of that.
Yeah, but well, I mean, like,
even Zelda
what
took
is
an
the
extra
definition
year.
of success here in this day and age? Like, because we're seeing studios shut down left and right for games that were successes.
Success these days is dictated by unrealistic executive expectations.
Witcher 3?
Yeah.
I don't know. But so the question is, what was the question? Will I be impressed by what I saw of Dragon Age?
Will you think it looks cool?
Was that the question? That was the question. Will Dragon Age Dreadwolf look cool to Brad? That's the literal question?
Yes.
I don't even think we could say that one way or the other, because he doesn't seem like he's even sure.
Doesn't look cool. So the cinematic trailer, definitely not. This is looking better. I would have liked to have seen something besides the rogue doing all the flippy flues in battle. Like maybe if I could have seen how a mage works, but it really is just an action game with cooldowns, man. That's not my vibe. I am not happy about what I saw. Ultimately, I've read 5 Dragon Age books. Damn it, I have high expectations for this series. You know, you know what I like? Baldur's Gate 3. This looked like someone who thinks that no one would buy a game like Baldur's Gate 3. That looks like what this is. And you know what? They're fucking wrong, because people bought the shit out of Baldur's Gate 3. So they were wrong. Doesn't mean it's going to be bad, but I am the guy who thinks the coolest part about Dragon Age is the fucking tactics menu. So what do you think I think about this? No, I don't think it looks cool. Damn it, I'm mad. I'll probably get over it because I love Dragon Age. But my answer is, I don't think it looks cool.
I don't even know if I should say how I feel about
We know how you feel. You've let us know.
No,
If you thought the cinematic trailer looked good, then of course you think this gameplay looks good. Damn it, certainly better than that.
I don't really even have much of an opinion on the actual like the actual like content of the cinematic trailer. The cinematic trailer did nothing more than like show what the new kind of like reimagined
Crispy.
like art style.
What is the
was for
song
this game.
that in that trailer? We Can Be Heroes. Do you know what song that is?
Oh, the fucking in the cinematic trailer.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like some Imagine Dragons shit. I don't know if it's actually Imagine Dragons, right? But that's just some bullshit song, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
honestly,
Ooh.
the only
I
time
would take Marilyn
I think
Manson.
that's the
over-
worst part.
Maybe
I
not
think that's the
anymore.
worst part of the trailer. I mean, to be
Remember
honest.
the
Yes,
this
I
is the
remember.
new shit. This is the
Yes.
new shit. I would take that over this. This is the new shit.
Look, I've only watched the cinematic trailer for this game once, and it was during the actual live stream when I could barely even hear the music.
This is how much of a Dragon Age fan you are. I watched it like 20 times.
Yeah, dude, Dragon Age has never been like the highest priority for me.
And
I
you know
guess.
that's fine, and I'm glad you're happy. But like, and I've heard this from other people. Like, I don't even really care about Dragon Age, or I didn't play
care about
Inquisition, but
characters
this
and
one looks
story
pretty
and the
cool.
world.
Like, I don't care about that opinion as much.
And I like the way this game looks.
End of sentence?
I think the visual style of this game is really appealing.
It looks better in gameplay certainly than it did in
See,
I mean,
than that cinematic.
literally the
trailer,
only
but
thing I was able to judge on during the actual presentation was the way it looked because I could barely hear
looks
it,
like
and I thought the
fucking
way that
Kingdoms
trailer
of
looked.
Amalur or some shit though.
Oh,
It doesn't.
no,
It doesn't.
Why does it
like-
look like that? It does. It does.
It doesn't
Why
look
does
like
it look
Dragon
that?
Age. It looks like something else. That's what
Everything's
bothers me.
soft and like there's almost like a haze.
So they are
around
in the
everything.
Tevinter Imperium, which is a very different like locale, I guess, for Dragon Age. It's like a city run by mages, and all like the lighting and stuff is all just like magic, and there's like colors everywhere and stuff, and it's weird. But
Dude, I think the visual style of this game is giving me vibes of. It actually kind of reminds me a little bit of how I felt about the South of Midnight trailer, which we'll talk about here shortly, and the way that game
that's-
looks. and-
No.
that looks way
Yeah.
cooler
What are
than
you
this.
talking about?
That
I
was
don't know,
way
man.
cooler than this.
This
I like.
looks like this. Yeah, this looks like Kingdoms of Amalur. This looks like a 360 game.
We can
What
move.
are you
okay.
talking about? Oh my god!
Dragon Age,
Let's
dude.
move on.
I don't know, man. It looks
Let's move on.
weird.
Oh man!
It looks different. I think the character models and stuff are growing
I'm
on
already-
me. Like
It
in
looks
these
like you
conversations
started
in
at
the
World of
gameplay.
Warcraft and took a step towards like.
Fortnite.
Well, I was
I
gonna
think
say
y'all
more
are
like
fucking crazy.
realistic grittiness, but like
Look up the fucking look up a
dude.
Kunari from Dragon Age 2 or like Iron Bull from Dragon Age 3. You played a little Dragon Age 3, right? Those they look fucking sick, dude. Look at the Aeroshock from Dragon Age 2. That dude
I think we
was
just have different. I
fucking
think
sick.
whatever.
This is a
Let's
part-
fucking move on. Let's fucking move on because
We
this
don't
shit's
have-
just gonna go sideways. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I feel like you're playing devil's advocate. You like dark
No,
and
I
gritty,
just-
damn it. You don't like cartoons?
What? Stop using the word cartoon like a fucking slur, man. It's fucking weird. Stop it. Jesus
What am I
Christ.
supposed to call it?
Oh my god.
I think the
Good lord.
podcast should be called the Fortnitification of Dragon Age.
I think you're crazy. Whatever. Fuck,
By
man.
the-
I wish
by
we
the
didn't fucking
coward-
start talking. I
by
wish
the
we did not
coward
start the Summer Game Fest
BioWare.
conversation with this because now I just don't want to talk anymore.
Well,
oh my
look,
god.
I'm not going to be as invested in these other games, so just
Oh great. Good for you. Now I have to like feign interest
what-
in the rest
what
of
do
this
you want from me?
conversation. Jesus
Hey,
fucking
hey.
Christ.
sneak peek. I think Assassin's Creed and Star Wars look fine and dandy, Nick.
Great. Wonderful. Because that's okay. Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
I know you're dreading it.
sometimes
Chris Davis
I
is
just
muted.
like
You don't like
sometimes
having
when we record
conversations about
podcasts,
Dragon
I
Age?
just
This is
I
good
just I just
podcasting,
want to
though.
die at the end of it. Just
Speaking of
Okay.
wanting to die, Summer Games Fest happened, and I slowly want to die inside. Yeah.
okay.
What, Chris Davis? What's bothering you so much?
No, wait, we'll get to what's bothering Chris Davis. I want to go in relative order of operation here, so I can actually keep track of what we've talked about, what we haven't talked
We're
about.
pretty much going to jump to Xbox, right?
No, well, I mean, here's the thing: there were a couple things that I wanted to bring up from Summer Game Fest. Yes, most of what we saw at Summer Game Fest was a fucking snooze fest.
Lego Horizon.
In fact, 95% of it was a fucking snooze fest. But a couple cool things did happen.
Yeah.
Why was Lego Horizon more serious than Dragon Age? No, I'm just kidding.
I fucking hate you.
Is it even is Lego Horizon coming out this year?
I don't think they set a date.
I don't think
Oh,
they said.
okay.
All right, so a couple things from. Oh, actually, no. The Lego Horizon said fall 2024.
Okay.
There you go. You think that's a good pickup for Fantasy Crest?
Fuck
be, I
off.
don't know. No, I'm serious.
Okay, whatever. We got Neva gameplay that from the studio that made Gris,
not
which
much
looks
to
pretty
see
cool.
there.
Not much to say there, but here's the thing: the things that I would maybe call attention to. Did we have a release date for Metaphor yet, or is that
Yeah,
old
we knew
news?
that was coming out this fall. Yeah.
The big thing for me that I wanted to draw attention to from Jeff Keighley's thing was we knew Blumhouse Games was going to be announcing something there. They announced like a whole like slate of horror games from different developers that are coming. And at first I thought I was watching I thought it was a trailer for like an anthology called Blumhouse Games, but it's not. They're separate projects of varying size and scope from indie developers, AAA developers, and I don't have the list of names in front of me.
There's a project from Sam Barlow and Brandon Cronenberg.
Yes.
Now that
I'm
on board with.
Which
that
is fucking crazy.
I'm on board with.
So, because
Brandon Cronenberg of Possessor fame?
Yes.
Yes.
So, the little bit of talk about the Blumhouse thing prior to this thing was that everyone was assuming they were going to come out and be like, announce some like, here's our Poltergeist video game or whatever, or something based on a licensed
Here's our
movie
VR paranormal activity game. Yeah.
Something
like
along those lines.
Cheap.
I don't think anybody was expecting them to come out of the gate
would've
swinging with like four or five games that were announced in quick succession that all looked like they had wildly different approaches, like visual styles, like, but they're all
There's a
horror
Stardew Valley
games.
like focused on horror and murder. Like what?
Dude, it's wild, and I was not expecting that. So like that is by far the biggest surprise for me at that show.
Also, Wanderstop.
Wanderstop showed up. We already knew about that, right?
Wanderstop? I don't think so. This is the cutesy town builder from the creator of Stanley Parable. That's maybe not such a cutesy town builder.
Oh,
it's a good trailer. It's a good trailer.
They're definitely cooking. There's something underneath the just under the surface there.
Going to be a
twist. Seen it, Crispy. Check out Wanderstop.
That's supposedly coming this year too, by the way. So this leaked ahead of time. So it wasn't as impactful, I guess, at the show. But we finally saw Slitterhead in action. And let me tell you, as someone who considers Silent Hill to be one of my favorite games of all time, and this is from the original creator of Silent Hill, and we saw this a few years ago for the first time, and it looked kind of wild, just in terms of like wildly different from Silent Hill in general. I was not really impressed with the way this game looked.
Is it more because it doesn't resemble something like a Silent Hill or Siren?
No,
because I mean the dude also made Gravity Rush.
No, you're right, he did, and I don't think it has anything to do with that. I just think
it looked janky as fuck.
It looked janky as fuck,
but like it also looked pretty cool.
I mean,
like
it looks out there.
I'd play the shit out of that PS2 game.
It looks out there, and I hate to say this because I don't like saying this because it sounds. I know making video games is hard.
Nick.
Okay, this looked like it should have released on the PS4 and maybe pretty early in the PS4's life cycle. Like it didn't really look.
You're saying it's ugly.
I'm saying it's kind of ugly.
Like Prince of Persia. The Lost Crown.
A lot of times horror games they go to either end of the spectrum, right? They either go way back and they intentionally aim for like super retro nostalgic visual styles, or they go really hard on like photorealism, right, to make it super visceral feeling. This felt square in the middle. I don't know. It just look. Y'all may have
combat
hated the way
looked
Dragon
janky.
Age looked. I did not like the way this game looked.
Okay, but
like,
what we
this
is
did
like
not do it for me.
so you know how some Kickstarter games have like, oh, we kickstarted this game, we made a few $1 million. Also, we got some investors, and they're gonna give us like 20 million more. Here's our fucking video game. This looks like a game that made a couple million on Kickstarter and like not a penny more, and they've been desperately trying to make a video game with that. You know, this does not like I. Look,
I mean,
man,
I
I'm
think the
just
problem
glad
here.
that this
I'm not
company
saying the
made a
game's gonna be
fucking
bad
video
either.
game, because it's hard out there, and like at least it looks weird and different. Because if this just looked like a bad budget Silent Hill, I would say, well, that's completely uninteresting. This looks at least weird and different, and even if it is sort of
I'm
a
not trying to
spiritual
say it
successor
doesn't.
to Parasite Eve's The Third Birthday in some weird ways.
I mean, I think the thing is,
here for
at
it.
least from my perspective, is that I understood and both didn't understand what was going on the entire time.
I mean, the main mechanic seems to be you're like jumping between people,
Like you're
and
possessing
taking over
people
their
like something out of Geist from the GameCube, and you're using those to hunt down monsters in the environment. But
It's
at
like
the same
Third
time,
Birthday.
like I don't know. I
never
just don't
played Third
quite
Birthday.
understand what the gameplay.
Third Birthday, you
It's
jump
pointing
from
to
like to fucking random people in mid combat.
Brad, we don't talk about the Third Birthday.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like,
I'm
as
not
someone
trying
who I saw Slitterhead announce, and I was like, well, that is a video game I never ever have to pay attention to, because who gives a shit? They're making some bad horror game, great, on a budget. At least this looks weird and different. And I mean, the main thing is that the combat like animations and stuff look like shit, but like I'm glad that this is like fucking weird and bonkers, because otherwise it would have been completely boring, and I don't think we'd be talking about it.
I'm not saying I'm like not going to give it a shot or anything like that. Again, this is from the original creator, one of my favorite games of all time. I just something
You can say
like,
it
I was
looks visually like shit, because
I said it. I've said it several
you're not
times. I
wrong.
think it
You're
looks like shit.
embracing this new these graphics. These poor people graphics are bad.
look,
I get it. Embrace the hate.
God.
I just think that like we need a better explanation about what this game is, and I think that
say that like that stuff's out there, dude. I'm telling you, you can't say that when that information exists. You just have to look for it.
Okay,
There are interviews and stuff.
Please tell me what it is, because I don't understand.
Do the research.
Listen. We're getting
It's out there.
We're
There's
moving
long
on.
previews.
We're moving on. The point is, as a big fan of the original creator of Silent Hill, I was underwhelmed by this, and that's kind of a disappointment, because before this, when I heard it was going to be there, I was like, "Ooh, that's a reason to watch the Summer Game Fest presentation for me." So I was kind of bummed to walk out the other side and be like, "Eh."
And I'm the opposite, actually.
Sure. Alan Wake 2 got a physical edition and Night Springs DLC, which I was going to play last night, and I didn't. So I didn't.
All right, let's get to Xbox.
Hang on. There's some things I want to mention here. Civ 7, we got the formal announcement of that, which is the big Take-Two thing that was not Borderlands or BioShock.
Yeah. We made it all the way through this, and we didn't get Borderlands 4. I just realized that. People seem so sure Borderlands 4 is going to be
because it was leaked. Because we know it's coming. It's fine. Doesn't mean it was ready for here, but
I guess.
Gearbox. I assume that Gearbox, since they have a new owner, are probably going to do a dedicated event probably this fall.
Civ 7. That's a top fantasy critic pick next year.
Well, it was a fantasy critic pick for me this year, so I need to drop it now. We also got the next game.
You drafted. He drafted Civ.
Did he?
I think so.
Is that on your list?
I know I did at least one of my leagues. So
this is the second time I'm reminded that Chris Davis is cheating on us and playing other fantasy critic leagues.
No. I'm sorry for wanting to play with other friends. I have more friends than y'all.
How dare you?
It's like a man buying multiple lottery tickets hoping to get a win.
He does not have Civ on his list for us.
Okay,
He
that's
is talking about one of
leagues
his
then.
side pieces.
Yeah, my side pieces. We got the next game from the developers of Fury. It's called Cairn, and it's about a very angry person yelling and climbing a mountain. Yeah. So I'm looking for that. I don't know what that game really is other than climbing, but it looks good.
It looked like it
There's
might be a
3
slightly
games
more
from Day of
competent
the Devs I
Jusant.
want to talk about next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
And
we got a
Kunitsu
new
got a
hyperlight
release
breaker
date.
drifter.
Kunitsugami got a release date of July 19th, and that's way sooner than I was expecting. So
Yes. And
that's
evidently
pretty cool.
previews dropped today, and they seem to be pretty positive.
Nice.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Let's talk
That's
about
good.
Xbox. Xbox, I think
Boom.
most people would agree. I mean, here's the thing. It was a weird thing because obviously Phil Spencer came out at the beginning and everyone was like, boo, boo this man.
What did he
As they
say?
should be.
Did he say anything?
That was like the first topic of conversation was that like he said something about the state of the industry and it lasted all of about 10 seconds and then he moved on, which felt just more like he said something about it out of like a sense of obligation.
They're just as useless as Keighley.
It was pretty useless. Oh no, no. Actually, you're right. I'm thinking of Jeff Keighley. He
You're
came
thinking
out
of
and said
Keighley.
something.
Spencer said anything.
I don't
Keeley's
think,
thing was completely toothless. Like
Phil
Spencer didn't say a damn thing. He was a hype man for his own show.
well, here's the thing. Phil Spencer did several interviews, I think, with IGN after this during Summer Game, during like the Play Days thing, and he addressed the whole state of the industry thing. And it basically came down to like, we have to make tough decisions. I hate to do it, but we have to make tough decisions to keep the business healthy and stuff.
Whatever.
And
At least he's
It
full
was- it
mask
was-
off now. Like he's not
it was
pretending to be
bullshit.
like a cool guy like one of us. Just be your
But-
dumb fucking executive self and shut the fuck
Right.
up.
But then he stopped talking. We didn't see him again for most of the show, I don't think. And
Good.
Xbox did what they've done, and the reason why I think Xbox has actually had some of the best showcases, historically speaking, for the past 5 or 6 years, is because at some point they started literally just doing away with the talking heads and doing like game after game after game after game.
They just have
and-
big games and they have big third party games and they don't
they
have
had
to
a
have
lot
all this gross advertising shit to pay
Right.
for their show like Jeff
They
Keighley
had a-
does. So
They had a lot to prove this year, and of course, the linchpin of their whole showcase was obviously Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I didn't really stick around to watch that, but apparently, I don't know, whatever. That's neither here nor there. I'm gonna play it because it's on Game Pass day one, which is a big deal, and I can finally play the campaign without having to spend any more money than I would have anyways. So that's kind of interesting. But just running through some of the highlights here, of which there are probably a lot. Doom Dark Ages, which we kind of knew existed, it was confirmed.
did it just
and-
kind of look like more Doom? I mean, I like the part where he was riding the dragon.
Dude, I don't go back and watch that trailer. I mean, we watched
do
it
need
for
to
trailer
watch it
talks
again.
tonight,
Yeah.
but I think that first of all, I would not go as far as to say that was melee focused, like Chris Davis.
No, it
prediction
wasn't.
seemed to be.
No, but like they
But-
added a fucking parry system. That sounds awesome.
Has a parry system. It has he has a shield that he carries around. He has some really cool kind of like.
The weapons are
I'm not-
fucking absurd. There is a weapon that chews up skulls and shoots the bits at enemies. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And then there's shots of him like isn't there like a giant mech at some point?
Yeah,
And
he fights a
and he's-
fucking demon titan. Like yes,
and
give me that.
And then of
There's a
course there's a
dragon.
shot of him flying around on a dragon, which
That's
you know
cool. I want to see more of that.
that
Well,
trailer
hey.
looked hype as hell.
If you would have played
Later.
Ancient Gods Part 2, you would have seen this coming.
Oh God. Don't bring up the Ancient Gods meme again. That's coming out 2025. That looks pretty cool. State of Decay 3 finally was shown, but it was mostly kind
No,
of
it was only cinematic. Boo!
it was
What the fuck, dude?
Listen. Yes, it was only cinematic, but there's a difference because the original trailer we got was like completely pre-rendered CG cinematic,
Yeah.
and now we got an in-engine cinematic trailer.
Oh, whatever, dude.
Whatever.
It's been quiet for so long. You don't come back with a cinematic trailer.
And they didn't even
Like,
mention a year, so
they
I'm
don't
gonna
even
guess
know what that
2026.
game is.
But hey, it reminded me that I like State of Decay.
Perfect
and
Dark.
Yeah.
Let's hop the big.
Wait, dude,
things.
can I just? Oh my God.
Go
Brad,
ahead?
you got to hold
I'm
your
just-
horses, Brad. Let him run the show.
I'm just trying to get through this list and keep track of what we've actually covered. And I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna
Everything's
skip over the
created
things that you're
equal.
probably.
I'm saying we don't need to mention a State of Decay cinematic. Who gives a shit? There's big stuff here.
There's some big stuff. There's even some new IP. Expedition 33 looked really cool. I don't really know what I can say about it other than
It did look pretty cool. We were gonna have it in trailer talk, but we never got to it.
Which,
I
of course, I'm sure
love
will
the
show up.
idea of it. Like it's a whole quest to kill this immortal witch that every year lowers the number in a countdown, and when that happens, everyone at that age or older dies in the world.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's
I am more
fucked
like
up.
interested in the fact that it's like has like weird JRPG looking combat. It kind of looks like a Lost Odyssey game or something. It's weird.
Yeah.
It has
I
like
don't know.
turn-based combat,
I don't know
but
what
it's like
it is,
a,
but I am.
Which is
very much looking forward to
rare. But yeah, that as far as new IP goes, that was pretty impressive. I don't remember who the studio was, but it looked pretty impressive. And then we got our first look at South of Midnight, which also showed up in trailer talk this evening. South of Midnight.
Cool.
This is the next game from Compulsion Games,
I hope it's
and it was
good.
announced last year. It was like the kind of the New Orleans like folklore type thing,
Yep.
but we finally got like a good look at the gameplay.
Which is like action adventure,
Action adventure in kind of an open environment, and she's like traversing with like flying. Like she looks like she has like a. It looks like it controls like a wingsuit or something that she can control. Like she can just jump into the air and use it and like gain
I'm hoping it's
altitude
like
and stuff.
Beyond Good and Evil scoped. You know,
I think that's kind of what we're. I think that seems to be kind of the scale of.
I get those
these
vibes from the
environments.
combat. Obviously, I think she's fighting with like a staff kind of thing, like just like Jade. But you know,
Yeah.
that catfish seems cool.
Yeah.
I like the look of the game. I hope
the
it's
creatures that show up in that little, so the catfish and then the giant alligator, like man, and we mentioned this earlier during trailer talk. It has this really cool effect that most people probably associate it these days with across or into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, kind of like where they pull out frames, so it's so it has this kind of like very subtle stop motion kind of vibe to it. They use that on the main character, and it's a pretty impressive effect. I don't know. We talked about Compulsion Games doesn't have a great track record.
terrible track record.
Terrible track record, in fact. But I think this looks really impressive from a technical standpoint, from a design, just kind of general vision. I think it looks pretty great.
I hope it's good.
Super excited. I hope it's
Yeah.
good. That's
Well,
coming
an
out in
alligator
2025.
if we're in Louisiana land.
Yeah. Metal
Only
Gear Solid
Florida has
Delta.
crocodiles.
Metal Gear Solid Delta showed back up where we actually got a really good
Yeah,
look at
that's like a
bunch of
nice
gameplay.
visual overhaul. I mean, I don't know how. Is this like a Blue Point situation where they're just like completely redoing the visuals, but the bones are still kind of MGS3?
Basically, yes.
I
They
think so,
didn't.
yeah.
They're not
I'm
doing
down
any
for that,
mocap.
man.
They're using all the original audio, but they're bringing back in the actors for like very specific situations, like tutorial dialogue and stuff that would not translate to modern consoles. They're fixing a lot of the bugs that were left over from Blue Point.
Are you going to be in menus less?
Supposedly, yes. Like
If they don't
have
do like essential quality of life for this game, then this whole project was a fucking waste. Because the thing that drags down Metal Gear Solid 3 is like, oh, I got shot by a bullet into my menu to like do all the first aid and stuff, and then like, oh, I got shot by a bullet. Oh, let me go back into my menu to do all the first aid and stuff. Oh, I need to change my camouflage. Back into the menu to change my camouflage. Oh, I'm in grass now. Let's go back into the menu to change my camouflage again. They
Like,
need to
they
do a
don't
lot of quality of life.
They didn't specifically talk about menuing stuff, but they did say that like the whole medic system has gotten an overhaul, and whatever
If they're
happens
overhauling
to,
systems, then
what
they're overhauling.
happens to Snake in the game is reflected on the character throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, but I don't care about visual shit. I'm saying like that game needs to be much better to play, because play wise, I think that one holds up maybe like one of the least of all the Metal Gear Solid games. Even
Well,
though
I
there's
mean,
cool bosses and
like
shit.
there's two different camera systems here. They have, it looks like they're adopting a lot of the mechanics of 5 as far as like movement goes and like
Okay.
sneaking stuff.
That's a
mean,
good-
And if that's the case, I feel like it might be kind of difficult to
Yeah.
leave the game, like to leave the bones exactly the same, because those environments
Yeah.
aren't the biggest. And if you were going to be
No,
No,
really
they're not.
mobile,
They're absolutely not. But you could have like the combat rolls. You could do enhancements to the CQC, things like that. I mean, they're being very coy about talking about the upgrades and new features. They're really just more playing that they're trying to do a faithful recreation.
right? All right,
Like all the cinematics are shot for shot matching.
So there's also some rumors about it maybe dropping on November 17th, but that's unconfirmed and at some point saying it's
see, again,
false.
I doubt it. I doubt this.
Like that's like 2 days or something from like right around Assassin's Creed time, and it's November is already going to be pretty crowded.
This is one project that I don't think they need to rush out at all, man. Take your fucking
No.
time, Konami,
Yeah.
because no one wants a shoddy Metal Gear project at this point. Don't
Yeah,
fuck us
so
up.
so November 17th specifically, that
It was
was
the 20th anniversary.
announced by GameStop, and that's the 20th anniversary date of the launch of the original Snake Eater. So it's
huge
probably more a
grain of salt
speculation
there.
thing. But that being said, like they did retract that later on, but you put all your pre-orders live yesterday. A lot of pre-orders for games don't launch until like 6 to 8 months before a game comes out. So it's theoretically possible it could come out November 17th. I'm not putting money on it, even though I
Remember when they
money
opened
on
up pre-orders
pre-order.
for Jedi Fallen Order before people even knew what kind of game it was?
Not surprising. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because we're trying to hit the highlights. Perfect Dark reemerged in a big way. They showed a lot of gameplay, kind of give you a taste of what the game looks like. I didn't even realize it takes place in Egypt, but it does. I think it looks very cool. It actually looks like it has
How
a lot
much
in
of y'all
common with like
watched
Deus
through
Ex.
it?
Well, it's
So
it's,
like it immediately looks like a Deus Ex, which is what makes it exciting. But like, have y'all combed through it? Like, does it look like a good video game beyond that?
I mean, here's the thing. It's a gameplay trailer that is like bouncing around a lot and showing obviously pretty scripted moments, or not scripted, but like they've set up a lot of these scenarios to look really cool, right? We have yet to see like a vertical slice where it's like just watch somebody play the game. So I feel like it's impossible to answer that question. What we can say is it looks like it's drawing inspiration from Deus Ex, Dishonored. It has some parkour, kind of like Mirror's Edge stuff going on there. It has lots of gadgets, which is obviously in line with like classic Perfect Dark, which looks really cool.
It has
gonna
a
be
sheen
aliens.
of being an immersive sim. That is very enticing.
Did you ask them if there's gonna be aliens? I don't fucking know. Okay.
I mean, this
I
is
will
supposed
say
to be
this.
like a reboot.
I did not expect Perfect Dark to show up because there's obviously been rumors about it being in having some trouble, and that may still be the case or may not be. I don't know. But like as far as highlights of this show in general goes, that was mine. Perfect Dark I thought looked way more interesting than I ever would have expected. So thumbs up on that.
Yes.
But I am looking forward to seeing more about it. And I don't even think they said specified a year release date. At least
No,
I
there
didn't
is
write
no
it down
date.
here. So it's probably going to be a while before we see that again. Fable finally got a look at some gameplay of Fable, even though, again, kind of like Perfect Dark, it was chopped up and spliced in between, other things.
Yeah.
But that's coming next year, and the little bit of gameplay we did see, there's one moment in the Fable trailer where it's like the character walks up to someone in like a town and starts talking to him, and you can hear that very like Fable-esque music playing in the background, and I was like, and I just felt the nostalgia just kick in, and I was like, I think it got me.
Yeah.
I think it got me. It looked very Fable, and I was like, I'm here for it.
Also, this game is getting support from Eidos Montreal.
That is true.
That is very interesting.
Why?
It's a support studio, though. I mean, it's not like,
I mean,
what are you?
So many AAA games have support
Well,
studios.
the real news there is it's a shame that Eidos Montreal has become a support studio.
Well, I think what's interesting is that, they're surviving right now is the thing that concerns me after Deus Ex got canceled. So like seeing them contributing, like the story work that they put into their Deus Ex games, I think is great. And I think they've got things that they can contribute that would make this Fable game even better.
I kind of wish they were a support studio on Perfect Dark, to be honest.
I thought that's what we thought we were. I thought that's what we were talking
that would
about.
make more
Fuck.
sense.
No, we're talking about Fable.
I mean,
That would
I feel
definitely
like
make more sense.
thematically speaking, yes, I appreciate the idea of Eidos Montreal contributing towards Perfect Dark. That being said, like their Deus Ex games, combat was not the best part of that game.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a Perfect Dark. Hey, so Fable. Fable.
Right.
I still get like this vibe, like we're seeing a lot of smoke and mirrors. I just want to see this video game being played by a human for 20 minutes.
Right.
I
And
want
you
the
will.
Dragon Age
will.
moment for this game.
You will, but they're obviously not ready for that yet. Here's the thing: we have now seen some gameplay in motion, and we have a release window. So the next logical step is the next time this game reappears, which might even be something like Game Awards or something. We'll see like an actual
of Fable a
vertical
year
slice.
prior to this, though. You know,
You're right. I mean, this could very well be like a November, December release next year. So there's probably still a long ways to go before we actually see a vertical slice demo of this game. I want to highlight one game just real quick. Mixtape was announced, which looks like this like really cool kind of like it almost looks Life is Strange-esque, like 80s.
It had a good trailer.
It had such a cool vibe and a cool trailer. I highly recommend checking that out. Life is Strange got a new sequel, Double Exposure, with the return of Max from the original Life is Strange.
I mean, it's not just sequel; it's a direct sequel. Like
it's a direct sequel to the original Life is Strange, starring Max. Which looks
I feel like
pretty
I'm more
cool.
excited for that Don't Nod Life is Strange game that they're working on. Is that also coming soon?
I don't remember which one that is. I've kind of lost track though.
Don't Nod is making a Life is Strange game. Not
is it an actual Life is Strange or a Life is Strange?
No. They don't. They basically don't make Life is Strange anymore. So they're kind of making their own IP. That's basically
Lost Records. That's what it was.
Lost Records.
Lost Records.
I feel like I'm more excited for Lost Records than this because I mean, Max.
But hey, Deck 9 did a fantastic job with True Colors, the last Life is Strange game.
It was fine.
Oh, dude, it was great. It was great.
I think Don't Nod does a real good job.
We're talking about Deck 9.
Sorry, Deck 9. I mean, I think they both do good jobs, but I think Deck 9 does a real good job.
Whatever. That's coming out in October.
Are you saying they're Deck 9's dad is better than Don't Nod's dad?
Yeah, something like that.
Are you saying Deck 9's dad could beat up Don't Nod's dad?
We got a really long trailer for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yeah, that was
no release date yet.
That's not
no release date.
That wasn't even a trailer. That was just a cut gameplay, really.
Yeah, it was like a long cutscene followed by some gameplay and some whatever. But
at the same time, like I think they had to kind of do that because they kind of had to establish the kind of
it's weird though
characters going on and all that.
It's weird though. We
That's
saw
like
Indiana Jones.
Dragon Age kind of had to do a bad cinematic trailer. They didn't kind of have to do anything. They did it, and it didn't land.
We saw Indiana Jones, and we saw Avowed, both games that are slated for 2024.
Yep.
No release date, and I'm just like, what?
That is weird. See, so again, Avowed, no release date. I feel like that absolutely has the potential to not come out. But you know, they did. I did watch a deep dive today. That's again another 20-minute thing. Like, personally, I'm excited to play Avowed. I mean, I think it looks cool.
I think it could surprise for sure.
The combat definitely did look better in this new
Obsidian.
trailer.
I feel like.
Is Obsidian still making Outer Worlds 2? I feel like that game was announced and then just.
That was announced 4 years ago.
Yeah, Obsidian, they work on multiple projects. I mean, they ship games, man. You don't never have to worry about Obsidian. They ship games. They ship good games.
They do.
My question for y'all is, I mean, the thing that I think cool people on Avowed is when they heard it was like more the scope of something like the first Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds. Where are y'all all played Outer Worlds?
I played about 10 hours of Outer Worlds and then fell off it.
I bounced off it as well, yeah.
Same.
Which is a shame because that's about 50% of the game.
Do y'all think it's because Fallout's lame, or do you think it's because Obsidian made a bad
Definitely don't think Fallout's lame.
I think the gameplay was fine. I wasn't a fan of like the tone and what they were going with the excessive corporate capitalism bullshit.
But do you think the world and the lore and all that stuff just was kind of holding it back? Because the thing is, Avowed is set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, and like that's a cool world with like cool, like, you know, I like those games, and so I think Avowed is already kind of has like a big advantage going in. So if they just kind of nail the feel of the game, the loop of the game, like if it's just a fun RPG, like I think we don't have to worry about the other stuff. And we know
That's true.
Obsidian's good at telling a good story and writing
I'm not
cool
particularly worried
characters.
about. I just want to know when it's coming out. Couple more quick things. This is a surprise for me. Rebellion's new game was announced called Atomfall, which I think
Rebellion,
looks
the
really
developers of the fucking Sniper Elite franchise.
Yeah, it looks. I don't know. It looks really neat. I don't know what else to say other than it looks kind of like a.
It's legally distinct British Fallout.
Legally, sure. I guess that's one way of putting it. But it's like a very lush green Fallout. Like it's not like. It's like post-apocalyptic, but like post-apocalyptic where like nature is taken back over and there's lots of greenery and lots of weird robots and stuff. I don't know. It looks really cool.
We know nothing about it.
We know nothing about it, but
we didn't see the In Exile game.
We didn't. No. We also didn't see
the fucking Clockwork
Revolution. Yeah,
Clockwork Revolution. That's a little concerning.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Stalker 2. Heart of Chernobyl, which we know is coming September 5th. We got another look. That game continues to look pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And they closed the show with Gears of War E-Day, which is a prequel going back. You're playing as a young Marcus Phoenix and a young Dom, I believe, right? And it's supposed to take place on Emergence Day, which, as far as I'm not a huge Gears person, but I know enough about the lore to know that Emergence Day obviously is a pretty important thing. We've never really gotten to play anything in that, so it'd be kind of like getting a Last of Us sequel that takes place on Outbreak Day, and that has always seemed really cool.
They still need to convince us why we all want to play another Gears of War game.
That is true.
The story,
because you say that. And yet, I spent my weekend playing Gears 3.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, some of us are more Gears pilled than others, but I'm just saying,
pilled.
Is this going to be a more ambitious project than just another Gears of War game?
The thing that caught my attention about it is they've basically said that there's a stronger emphasis on horror, which they haven't done since the original.
Yeah, they're pitching the Locust to be like
Gears. I feel like we've been hearing about this quote unquote horror Gears game moment for decades now. Come on.
I'm just saying that's what caught my attention. Though. I don't know. Here's the thing. I think anything that takes place on that kind of big day, right? That has the potential to be pretty scary.
It's not horror. It's
but just being on the ground in the midst of something like that happening in the moment sounds like it could be really cool and potentially really scary. We'll see what happens.
That final shot of the trailer with the cityscape, and you see all the locust monsters crawling over the buildings and stuff like that. Hearing people scream, it was kind of a scary moment.
Hey, Phil Spencer, where were all the Japanese games?
Oh shit! Maybe that's why I like this showcase so much. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
we need to pick up the pace.
Brad,
I know you
there was Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers.
I'm trying to keep the pace moving.
That's Chinese development.
Day of the Devs. Did say you had a couple things you wanted to mention there?
No, I was kidding.
Oh.
When we were getting into the nitty gritty. I was kidding.
Well, damn.
I want to just hit the big shit.
So Ubisoft, like you said, luckily not a lot to cover there in terms of announcements. They re-revealed Sands of Time's remake, which basically is just saying it's coming in 2026.
That wasn't a fucking re-reveal. That was a title announcement.
No. Look. When I say re-reveal, I more mean it's hey, this game is still coming. You can now expect it in 2026, which is basically just saying, yes, we went back to the drawing board. It's being developed it's practically being developed by a different studio, I think, at this point. So
I think Ubisoft and Montreal took it in. Yeah,
I deserve my yearly apology from Crispy for shaming me when I was down on Beyond Good and Evil 2 after that unveiling many years ago. Crispy,
I don't even think Crispy's listening.
I am listening. I'm not apologizing for that.
Fuck you.
That shit. I stand by what I said. It looked cool at the time.
I'm talking about when I said this is a fake video game and this is never coming out, and y'all shamed me.
Well, maybe it's because we wanted you to be wrong.
Fair.
Listen.
Disagreed.
Ubisoft.
Disagreed with...
Of all the showcases, Ubisoft is always the one that's felt like the big commercial, and they almost always focus on things that we know about already. So yes, Chris Davis, you did not get a Splinter Cell announcement. I think you were insane to even expect it.
No, I don't. A game that was announced 3 years ago, I don't think that's unrealistic.
I think if Splinter Cell is going to show up again, you would have seen it at the Xbox conference.
I mean, that would have been
I
great
think
too.
that's
but,
probably
like,
that's probably true.
but like they could have done like what they did for Sands of Time. Like they could have just done that with fucking Splinter Cell. They could have done that.
I mean,
and I would be
You just
satisfied.
want to see a sign of life, a proof of life, or whatever.
yes,
Yes,
proof of life.
Hold
show
up
up a
Sam
newspaper
Fisher-
with
a
today's
picture of
date
Sam
on it to the
Fisher.
camera. Yeah, show proof of life is exactly what I need.
Well, there was no Splinter Cell proof of life. In fact, going into this, the big thing
Jade
we were
didn't
really
get
expecting
proof of
was
life either, so.
a deep dive into the Star Wars Outlaws and a deep dive into Assassin's Creed Shadows, showing the first gameplay of that, which they delivered. I don't know how much y'all want to say about this. Both of these games are pretty high on my most anticipated list, but I know Ubisoft has a reputation, and not everybody is.
Yeah, but I mean,
on
like,
board.
look, we're not all Dano, Nick. You know, we're fine. So
I don't know.
I
but
just-
like,
I feel like most of us are fine. I watch both those and be like, you know,
Star
I'll
Wars
play both of
Outlaws-
these if they get good reviews.
Crispy, you said you were going to say something about Star Wars Outlaws a long time ago. Do you remember what you were going to say? Because now's your moment.
Of course I do.
Okay.
You can fly the ship
You can fly the ship.
and land it on planets.
Yeah.
You can do the thing you can't do
select
in
a landing-
Starfield.
You son of a bitch! You select a landing point
You
and
can
the game
fly the
autopilots you through a
ship.
cloud
You don't know
loading
that. You were like,
screen. No, I
flying
do know
around.
that. I do know that because I listened to a
Flying
preview of someone who was there. You select a landing point and cloud masks the loading. Don't give me
Well,
that
of
bullshit.
course.
It ain't No Man's Sky.
Can we acknowledge for a
Fine.
second that we as a society are just are truly lost? Like we are so spoiled, and like we're like choosing, like we're upset because you can't fly a spaceship down onto an actual planet. and,
Yeah,
like,
you
just
know,
get anywhere
yeah,
you want.
that's
He's saying
a
it
what
is.
a weird thing to want in a space adventure game. Like,
No,
specifically
I
about
think,
going to alien planets.
I think that would be wonderful, but this ain't it. This is some heavy smoke and
Nah.
mirrors, dog.
even if it is though, it like the interface they presented.
The planet got
Look better than
so
Starfield.
blurry as they got
better than
close. Did you
Starfield.
notice that? It got so fucking blurry. I'm like,
Okay,
what are
fine.
you-
It got
what
blurry.
trick-
Sure.
What trick are you
Planets are
pulling here?
huge. Nobody knows how big planets are. They're massive, and of course,
It's fine,
there's a
whatever.
bit of a force perspective. And sure, yeah, but you fly the ship, you hit a button, you go into hyperspace, you land on a planet, and it just
But when you get out of your ship on that planet, it's open world and lots of stuff to do. I love the
Yeah,
characters.
it's
I love the
like-
vibe, just the fucking being in that universe, being able to walk around and explore
open
that
world
universe
Star
freely.
Wars, and you're just
Looks
flying around a different planet. Like, that's
Sure,
great.
yeah. I mean,
Like so many Star Wars projects, the sound effects and music are going to do so much heavy lifting, and that's
Sure.
fine.
yeah.
That's fine.
But also, here's
Oh.
what I really liked about what they showed is that they were talking about like the way you learn abilities in this game is that you're actually seeking out characters who have like storylines and quests that are like you are seeking them out because you want them to teach you things that will help you on your heist, because the whole thing is about putting together this heist. So like your abilities are tied to seeking these people out, these elusive people out on all over the galaxy and having them teach you things that will be beneficial to you trying to pull off this heist, which just seems like a really cool kind of organic way of it's like a Metroidvania where the things that you learn come from actual characters and where there's like story that you have to delve into and like everything kind of ties together. I think that is really neat.
I hope it's
The-
cool.
the
I mean,
Empire-
I think I'm higher on this than I think I was on Assassin's Creed.
Sure.
I
mean,
which
I-
I feel like Assassin's Creed, man, they finally did the thing we wanted, and it feels a little bit like
10 years too
I
late.
feel like we've been here before. You should have done this maybe like 8 years ago, but
Yeah.
you know,
But to be honest, like I'm still kind of reeling from how much I love Jedi Survivor, and I think we're kind of in a really great space right now in terms of like Star Wars content. Like there's a lot of interesting stuff between like Andor and the Acolyte, which is happening right now.
but
and just all
you're
kinds of-
also like
I'm just
also like those are all creating like high bars for you. I could see this not
Sure.
kind of nailing
I mean,
it as much
anything
as
could
maybe
happen.
Survivor did for you, right?
Anything
I
could
mean-
happen, but like I am a person who likes open world games a lot, and
Except Rise of
an
the Ronin.
open world Star Wars game sounds like something I've wanted for a very long time, and it just happens to come along at a time when I'm feeling very good about kind of the state of Star Wars.
Okay,
So
so
How
here,
would you feel about an open world samurai game made by a non-Japanese developer?
Pretty good, pretty
Sign
fucking
me
good.
up.
I mean, so
Sign me up.
here's my thing about Outlaws is that I trust Massive. I love this developer. I love what they've worked on. My problem is that I've also played Massive games, and their
Have you ever
open world
played World in
content
Conflict?
has. Brad, shut the fuck up. My problem with their open world content is that a lot of it does kind of feel like bloat. I did not play the Avatar game, so I cannot speak to what that was like.
You're talking about
the
The
only thing I know
Division.
is that it was a Far Cry like experience. But I need to know like what the side content in this game is. But more
But I feel
importantly,
like you probably would say that about a lot of Ubisoft open world games.
yeah, but
No,
like
no. But if he's talking about The Division, that's a very different style of game than what this is.
it absolutely is.
That game is designed around service, games as a service. Like bloat was built into the design. I feel like this is a different kind of project.
Here's the thing, like what Brad said about the music and the sounds and like kind of just the audio visual experience of being in the Star Wars universe is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting here. And from what I can tell, just kind of existing and exploring this universe is sounds fantastic to me. I hope the writing is up to the challenge. Like I hope it's up to par or up to snuff, you know what I mean? But
I mean, I see that from your perspective, Nick. But right now, I'm Star Wars'd out. I've had a lot of Star Wars. Nothing is grabbing me these days.
I mean,
I'm not
I'm
excited.
definitely not
It
in
makes
that
sense
boat.
though, right?
So.
I mean, like we did just. I feel like we just got Jedi Survivor. I feel like this would have popped a little bit more if it was like 2 years from now. You know, and there is obviously. If y'all watch these shows and movies,
I don't want to. I don't want to get into that debate. Look, I'm at a point back. I'm back reading Star Wars books again, which I haven't been in over a decade. You know what I mean? Like
crazy.
I'm at a good spot right now when it comes to Star Wars. I think a lot of people are. There's a lot of stuff to be excited about.
What books are you reading?
I just finished reading a couple months ago. I finished reading the first High Republic book. Whose name I can't remember off the top of my head.
Beacon or
Yeah. Which I thought was really good. And that directly tied into Jedi Survivor in a lot of ways, which was pretty cool. But my point is, everybody's experience with Star Wars is different. I think this is just, as far as Star Wars games go, this is pretty ambitious. It looks exciting. I think as a fan of open world games, this is kind of a dream come true because I've never really gotten that Star Wars. I've never really gotten Star Wars in my open world games. This seems pretty awesome. I hope.
Wait, what about Jedi Survivor?
Is it?
I don't think it's the same thing. Jedi Survivor is open, but
Game
not
of the year.
Dude, it is my game of the year. Believe me, I know this. But like,
yeah, but it's open like a Souls game.
It's open. Yeah, it's open more like a Souls game.
Oh,
It's
so
open more
better.
like a big Metroidvania type thing. I think this is going more for like open like a Red Dead. Like where like when you go to a planet, it's just like miles and miles and miles of like landscape to explore and things to find on those planets.
I'm not.
That's what I mean. But anyways, that's coming out.
There's a reason why she
in
has a
August.
speeder bike, right?
She has a speeder bike. Yeah, you
True.
definitely don't have that kind. I mean, you can ride things in Jedi Survivor, but it's mostly.
I hope it's
take
more
you-
Assassin's Creed than, like he was saying, like The Division or whatever the fuck, because Assassin's Creed has enough like shit to fill out those spaces, right? You know, right?
does.
That
I
sounds good.
yeah.
I mean,
it's
the
like
thing
a
about
If it's like Mirage
the most praise
Assassin's
you hear
Creed,
for modern Assassin's Creed is like stuff like side quests and side characters and stuff. So if they can fill out a big ass Star Wars game with that level of quality, then that'll be
There's a lot of source material to
Nice.
pull
Are we
from.
assuming this is more towards Assassin's Creed quality than something like Avatar? We're not going to end up in a situation where
I would
this
say
is more
so,
Avatar,
but
right?
Avatar was also developed by.
I don't know,
Massive.
but that gameplay trailer was like her riding out into Tatooine and then doing a Far Cry base. Like,
True. Yeah, I mean,
know?
that's a good skin. That skin is more exciting than, honestly, at this point, another samurai setting game. I feel like it's crazy to me, but to me, the thing that's the biggest bummer about this new Assassin's Creed game is the setting.
That is, I mean, that is interesting, and I may have felt, I feel like I would have felt the same way about it a while ago, but I feel like I'm coming around on the idea.
Just because they've been in really cool settings, and this one we've seen so much lately.
True. Look,
I mean, just lately though, like for a lot of the past 20 years, we haven't gotten a whole lot of that.
You know what made me happy watching the Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay was, well, a couple things. I've heard this world described as kind of more akin to the size of like Assassin's Creed Origins, which I think which was, of the three they've done so far between Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, it was the smallest one, but it also felt plenty large, with lots of stuff to do and some really cool stuff to find. I think it's a really great goal to aim for as far as scale and scope of the world. And even though this is the last of the RPG style Assassin's Creed games, I couldn't really tell based on watching the gameplay, because it seemed much more kind of like an action game, very much akin to like Ghost of Tsushima, where it was like, you know, I wasn't seeing damage numbers or health bars or whatever, and she wasn't constantly running up against enemies that took more than one hit to kill.
What I saw from the young lady, to me, was much more appealing than what I saw from Samurai Man.
Well, Samurai Man is definitely more of like a tank, like a bruiser. Like he's
he was just kind of walking up to dudes and just swinging away. And I feel like that stuff. And again, you know, I've been playing Rise of the Ronin. They're really good at combat. This seemed a little like, you know,
I don't know, man. I think
like with the guy. I mean, I think with the lady, you're sneaking around, you're doing stealth kills. She's got a cool weapon.
I'll tell you what,
I'm on board, but like he was just kind of wailing away on meaty dudes with long health bars, and it just didn't seem all that.
I was actually pretty impressed by both. Here's the thing. I think if you want to talk about a game that's going to like keep things fresh, having two characters with two very different combat styles and eventually being able to pick which one you want to use in certain situations, I think it's choose? Really cool.
I mean, is she just as capable like fighting dudes face to face, or is she like
probably not? No,
because there was a part where she pulled out her Kurosagama or whatever and like fucking took out like 3 dudes at once. That seems pretty powerful.
I don't know.
I mean, it was also probably a very specific situation. Like, I don't know.
Look, all I'm saying is this is a kind of a unique approach, because a lot of times in the past Assassin's Creed, they've been like, here's 2 characters, but now pick one, and that's the one you're stuck with for the entire game. This one is going to have 2 characters working together on the same journey towards a goal, so they're going to have interactions
like Syndicate.
Like Syndicate. They're going to have different personalities, and you can choose when to use them. Yeah, Syndicate is definitely like.
But I'm gonna be playing Stealth Lady because it reminds me of Tenchu.
It did remind me of Tenchu a lot.
Yeah.
Also, Rise of the Ronin's good. You should not put it down forever, stupid.
I just don't know if it's for me, man. Okay. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Play budget games.
What is there anything I missed?
Nah.
Okay.
I mean,
so
it's the one announcement they had at some point.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. I've been trying to keep this train moving. Okay.
I know it's just a lot of shit.
Keep your 4-player minutes short, for the love of Christ. Okay, let's start.
I don't even have one. I don't even have a 4-player.
You don't even have one? Do you want to do Fantasy Critic? Do I?
Here's my 4-player minute. Nick picked up Silent Hill for Fantasy Critic.
Did pick up Silent Hill too.
Brave man. Ed tried to grab it.
He did. He tried to snatch it from me.
I imagine it's going to be probably a big week for bids. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we saw a lot of cool stuff with dates. I don't know.
A lot less stuff with dates than I was expecting, though. So,
well, yeah, I guess maybe. But some smaller games got dates. I mean, there's a lot of cool looking games coming this year.
Yes.
I don't think anyone's going to have trouble filling up their roster at this point.
Nope.
But I mean, I don't know. If you're feeling so confident about Dragon Age, Nick, pick it the fuck up.
I don't know if I am. but we'll see.
I don't know. I heard some game journos liked it, so and they
Look,
didn't.
dude,
like
I
the
also said I
Inquisition.
They're
never,
the ones that make the scores.
That's true. They make the scores, Nick.
But look, I also told
I
you
need to see more
I haven't played Inquisition. Like, I don't even know who this Solus character is.
What?
He was in 2
He's
though,
a-
wasn't he? Wasn't he in
No,
2?
he's
was
on
in
2. He was in 3.
Inquisition.
Well, then I
he
have
was a
no fucking
companion in
clue.
3.
I don't even
he's
know who
an
he is.
asshole elf who was.
That was like the.
Turns out was way more of an asshole than we
I
realized.
never left the
No,
hinterlands.
he wasn't he was.
He
Was
an
I the only one that
asshole.
liked him during the campaign because
Yes.
he reminded me of Spock?
Yes.
But yes, you are the only one.
He was okay. He was kind of a dick, but he's also like a ancient elven god who's
I was hurt by his betrayal.
yeah.
All right.
Man, maybe I need to play the DLC for that.
I
Shit.
never played the deals.
I've heard good things about
I think
Trespasser.
should I try and squeeze Dragon Age Inquisition in before I play?
Nick,
Oh.
anything but Baldur's Gate. That would be so funny for you to play through all of Dragon Age Inquisition.
Do you imagine if
100%
Baldur's
the
Gate was
hinterlands.
Japanese?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Stinky.
Oh my god, can you imagine how fast I would have put that down?
How fast you would have run away from it.
All right, moving right along. Crispy, 4-player minute, go.
I don't fucking know, dude. Let me talk about what I think about this Dragon Age thing, right?
About what?
Dragon Age. I do
Oh,
think
okay.
I do think calling it Kingdoms of Amalur is a little
Rude.
is a little uncharitable, but there is something about it. There's something about like you guys rebooted this not that long ago, did you? And like kind of started from the ground up. It there's like a softness and like a I mean it's not quite cartoony, but it really does look like that same kind of trick that Blizzard used to do where they're like, okay, well maybe if we stylize things a little bit, it'll hide that like it's not super sharp like in the polygons or whatever. Like it's weird. The player character in the gameplay trailer looks the worst. Like definitely is the most like noticeable, but they all kind of have this weird like
The thing
whole
is,
thing has this weird haziness to it that's like I'm just thinking like The Witcher 3, you know, that came out a long time ago, and
Many
this
years.
game has been gone for so long, and it's supposed to be the next Dragon Age game, and like these are the kind of things it's competing with.
I mean, look, it could have been an Anthem
No.
too. You know, let's.
I mean, I guess, but
At least it's a
Anthem
video
looked
game.
pretty. Anthem looked good.
And I know what Nick listened to. I think he listened to like the kind of funny impressions where they were pretty high on
I
it.
don't.
I actually haven't
think
listened
that-
to any impressions.
I don't
I've read a
really-
few. I've seen a lot of reactions on like social media and stuff. I haven't read a lot of.
People have been getting real weird about the cinematic trailer, and it's like, yeah, I don't think it's a great trailer, but I don't think it's
It's not.
that bad.
Yeah,
I just think the
blowing it out
needle
of
drop is a
proportion.
little like okay, like it's a little weird. It does kind of stink of that like oh you know everyone who's got like an ensemble cast now is looking at Guardians of the Galaxy is like their
People are out for
template,
blood.
you know.
Don't do
People
it.
are out for blood. People don't.
Poor
I think people
Concord
need to
devs
calm
are
down.
on
They don't want
on
to
the roof of some
see
building.
anything unless it's like blowing them away. And honestly, I think that's maybe a side effect of all this like keynote shit that we keep doing. Like, I think maybe people are getting a little brain broken with the idea that like if they don't see 30 minutes from a developer that just like changes their lives,
I mean, what the
that
fuck?
a game isn't worth being excited about.
You want me to just pretend I never played Disco Elysium, Crispy? Hey, my standards are high now. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying you should. I'm agreeing with you.
We all played Baldur's Gate 3.
We all played Baldur's Gate. We all played Disco Elysium. We all played The Witcher. We all played so many things that like this has to stand up next to, and it's kind of not. Or it doesn't look like it is. I mean, it looks like it's standing up.
I would
with,
hate to
like,
be Dragon Age in a post Baldur's Gate world. I would.
Well, yeah, and I feel like
That's fair.
I feel like this direction is very much an attempt to not be that. You know, is very much an attempt to be like, we are not Baldur's Gate. We're like we're like fun action adventure RPG
Mass
guys. Like we're Mass Effect with swords and magic. I do think that's kind of the direction. I don't know that that's a miscalculation. I get it. Like I get why you wouldn't want to be like compared to Baldur's Gate.
I want y'all to say right now, who do you think makes the better RPG? Obsidian with the Avowed or BioWare with Dragon Age Veilguard?
I think
I'm not putting a dog in this fight.
I want the answer to be Bioware,
If you're
but I think
forcing me to
Obsidian's part
pick,
of it.
I'm gonna pick Obsidian.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I
Just
really
in
want
terms
the
of
an-
like track record.
Yeah,
I
mean,
really want the answer to be Bioware, but I'm gonna have to say probably
I
more
want-
likely.
I want the
Obsidian.
answer to be
BioWare
BioWare
too.
because I want to live in a world where we can be excited about a BioWare game again.
I mean, I don't
I
think
want-
I'm not gonna play this game. Like, I think I'm gonna buy it. I just don't know. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna
like
play it for
I
sure.
really enjoyed putting like 40, 60 hours into Inquisition, but like as soon as I stopped playing Inquisition, I haven't thought about Dragon Age since. Like,
I read 5 Dragon Age
know,
books.
I know you did, and that's a little weird.
I
but,
heard
like,
there's another that came out after Inquisition. Maybe I'll track it down.
maybe.
Brad's laughing at the whatever that weird name was Crispy said earlier, and he's like, "I've read 5 Dragon Age books."
Borobato.
I mean,
The
look,
the
we can laugh at
ancient
them.
homeworld of the Cabal. I mean, come on, it's fucking serious shit. Yeah, Dragon Age is cool, but it definitely feels like I'm playing in somebody's homebrew D&D campaign. So it's like, oh, oh, the dragons are demons. Ooh. Like,
Okay.
you know
All
what I
right.
mean? I don't know. Whatever.
This
I'm excited.
dude was saying the same shit about Larian when they were making Divinity. Okay,
Dude, I
This
was
is
because
D&D
they're
build. If it's
I-
not D&D,
they're
it's fan
setting-
fiction. It's just crap.
I think I like Thetis more than I like what is Galarian? No, that's Pathfinder. What is theirs called? What's Larian's?
I don't fucking know.
So shut up.
Rivellon.
Rivellon. I think I like Thetis more than Rivellon. Whatever. I don't know.
All
It could be
right.
cool. Could be cool.
It could be cool. That's the moral of the story. It could
At this
be cool.
point, I'm really excited about Star Wars.
Hell yeah, brother. Let's do it. All right. Passing the baton to
last
Chris
thing on
Davis.
Dragon Age. Last thing on
God
Dragon Age.
damn it.
You know what they really needed though?
This is his
They
4-player
needed-
minute.
They needed a I didn't have a 4-player. Right? They needed
You
a,
did though.
like-
You fucking did.
too much of the roster is new. Mass Effect got a lot of mileage on like,
Yeah.
hey, look, Garrus is back, you know.
Yeah,
I know-
remember
I
when
know
it was
there's some new
like getting the
characters.
band back together, and you had
That's what I'm
people
saying.
from both games, and you were like,
Morden's
"Oh,
back."
yeah."
We were always uncomfortable about these new guys, but at least we had like
This is
Garrus,
like
right?
Varric,
But like this game needed that. All they needed, and I know they have Varric, right? But I feel like they need like a couple of more returning characters for everyone to be like, okay, I'm cool. Cassandra,
What happened
She's
to the
awesome,
cool wizard guy from the last
know.
game? The gay wizard man what was
from
his name?
Inquisition. Oh yeah. God, What
I
was
don't
his
mean to
name?
break up this Dragon Age circle jerk over here. This is just long
Where's
4-player
Morgan?
minute.
Where's Morgan?
Yeah, where's Morrigan? She's hot.
You know, you tell me she's in the main party. I'm
And she
I'm
has a
there.
kid now, so she's like a total fucking
I'm there.
big fat MILF. Like, you kidding me?
Just don't bring back Anders, please God. Never bring back Anders.
Nah, he's kind of a dork.
Chris Davis, save us.
Fuck you to Ubisoft. You know what you did. How fucking dare you? My sweat is the calendar of
I hope they
games I am
can.
hyped for the rest of the year. If anything, the past week has taught me that 2025 looks like it's going to be a good year. 2026 and beyond, probably going to be pretty good years.
And then we'll be
2025,
dead.
2024, I'm not thrilled about. There's about 3
Really?
games that
Not
are
thrilled about
absolute must-buys
2024?
for me this year.
Oh, this scrub.
I just...
It's been pretty good.
You've been
I-
talking about cool 2024 games all
I can
podcast.
name like
Dude,
20 games.
What are
that
you
I'm
talking
excited
about
for this year?
There's a Donkey Kong game and a Metroid game coming out this year.
That's
What
true,
are you
that's
talking about?
You
Hey,
know what I
Nintendo
heard? I
doesn't
heard that
even-
new Monkey Ball game is legit.
Nintendo
honest.
hasn't done their thing yet,
I
so
like Monkey
anything could happen.
Absolutely. We could certainly get a Silk Song announcement, and I still probably wouldn't care.
That
My
we didn't bring it up, but a lot of people expected Silksong to be there, and a couple of days before, Jason Schreier says, "I heard some shit that makes me think it's not going to be there." The question is, what could he have heard to make him think it was not going to be there? It has to be like some sort of other confirmation of another place it's going to be, right? Because what else?
Maybe
He heard that it's canceled.
Or the really tragic other educated guess is that maybe they're porting the game off of Unity because of all that craziness that went down last year with Unity.
Oh, the royalty shit? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Because Hollow Knight is a game that sold millions, and I could certainly see them not being cool with wanting to stay on Unity, which really would delay that game. Like no cap, no meme, like actual real delay. So
I just figured that would have already started, and then we'd already be well into that process at this point.
Yeah, but
that Unity thing is recent. That Unity thing is less than a year old. Like that nonsense.
Is it only a year?
That
Feels
takes
like
time. No.
Definitely possible. Definitely possible. This
which
is the
put my fantasy critic in shambles, but hey.
This is the second 4-player minute that Brad has rehijacked.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to say, Chris Davis?
Like I was saying earlier, the 3 games that are must plays for me this year are Indiana Jones, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Stalker. That's it.
Yep.
Like
one of those is
like big games to me. I don't.
The only other game that would make the list if it comes out this year is Metal Gear.
Wow,
that's it.
This motherfucker doesn't even care about that upcoming Nintendo Direct. He's not even going to play Astrobot. This piece of shit.
Oh yeah, what a piece of shit you are, Chris Davis.
He once told me he doesn't care if Michael Ironside is no longer the voice of Sam Fisher.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Can we move on?
He told me that.
Brad, I will fucking mute you. I will kick you off the fucking call. I swear to God.
That.
Splinter Cell Blacklist.
I said that.
Wait, was that Nick?
That was me.
That was Nick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
I apologize.
I apologize. It was Nick. Shame on Nick. We're on the same side on this one.
Hey, don't give 2 shits if it's Michael Ironside or not. Anyways, can I do my 4-player minute now?
All right, now kick Nick off.
I didn't get to finish.
Oh, sorry. You're still. God, this is the. I did be quick, and y'all are just dragging this on.
I don't know. Brad keeps having like 14 different 4-player minutes. Give me my singular 60 seconds. The other thing I wanted to add is that there's a thing that's happening today that I don't know how legitimate it is, but if it is, it's interesting.
There's like 30 minutes left in the day.
Someone has created a tool similar to the Steam DB that is focused on the Epic Game Store. And people are finding listings for projects under publishers and developers. That's kind of interesting. We're seeing things like The Last of Us Part 2. We're seeing ports of games like The Saboteur. People are still discovering because there's a lot of code names. But the one that really... Well, they're still working. They're still looking. It's only a couple hours old, this thing. The thing that grabs me is that there's a listing for Saber Interactive for a Turok game.
That's pretty cool, but Chris Davis.
What?
You're setting yourself up for disappointment again.
I mean, I probably am. This is a tool that people are still exploring, finding things out. But the fact that
we found out so much from the NVIDIA leaks, and it's
a lot of the NVIDIA leak has come true.
Most of it has.
A lot of it has not come true, though.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Yeah, but it's only been a couple years.
I would love for Turok to come back, as long as it doesn't come back and look like the 2007 Turok game. You know what I mean? Just like make a.
I don't know, but either way, yeah, there's a lot of stuff people are exploring.
Saber Interactive also sucks, so.
They're okay.
Saber Interactive is making the critically acclaimed, or sure to be critically acclaimed, Warhammer Space Marine 2, which drops later this.
We'll see.
Which, let's be real, it does look pretty fucking sweet.
Crispy is going to reach through the monitor and choke the life out of you, Brad.
Crispy is
I think
Crispy's
Crispy is
chill.
like
Crispy's
cool as a fucking cucumber over there,
yeah.
man.
Crispy's ready for this podcast to be over. So can I go now? This is my
Yes, you're good. Go.
Okay, I'll keep mine short and sweet. I hate myself, guys. I gave in. I knocked the difficulty of 9 souls down to easy today.
Oh, wow.
Oh, but
There's nothing
y'all
wrong with
we're
that.
talking
What a-
so much shit
No.
last
What
week.
a
Listen,
bad
listen.
person you are.
No. Listen. It's not about. I'm not ashamed to play an easy. It's just. I spent 20 plus hours playing it on normal. So now I feel like I wish I had just played from easy from the beginning. Because now I feel like all the effort that I put in getting as far as I did on normal was maybe kind of wasted effort. But whatever, that's neither here nor there.
These motherfuckers.
What are you talking about? You got that? You
Look,
finished that
look.
much of the game.
You weren't here last week, Crispy. I was asking, like, hey, I don't want to get stuck on any bosses. Should I just play that
Brett,
on easy? And they're
someone-
like, you piece of shit. These
No,
bosses are a joke.
That's
You're
not
a
what I said.
pussy.
Not at all what I said.
They said the P word.
Can
live
I-
on the
They
air.
said the
Can
P
I-
word.
Go ahead.
Can I amend what I said now that I've played more of the game since last week? Up until a point, there's a part I would highly recommend. I stand by what I said last week. Up until when I had played, I think normal was perfectly feasible and doable and not frustrating. But then I hit a boss this past weekend, and I would say I spent about 5+ hours trying to beat one boss, and then I did about 40 minutes of platforming exploration, and I hit another boss, and I played it for about 45 minutes, and I was like, I can already tell this is going to be another one. And I was like, I can't do this. I love this game. I want to see the end of this game. I do not want to give up on this game in frustration. So I said fuck it, and I knocked the difficulty down to easy. And that boss that I had already been playing for over an hour, first try, beat him. And I was like, God damn it. I can't even imagine how much time I would have saved on that last boss. So
There you go.
my official recommendation at this point is if you don't like if you don't want to hit a wall like that, maybe some people are really into that, right? Some people like really want to just push themselves to the limit on bosses. If that
Toxic
doesn't
Souls
sound like
fans.
you, play it on normal or on easy because the game is just too good to not play. Also, when you knock it down to easy mode or story mode as they call it, it gives you a whole bunch of sliders, so you can actually like customize your level of easy. Like you can say your damage multiplier is up anywhere from 0 to 100 or 200%, or you can do the damage that you take. You use a slider for that one as well, so you can really kind of fine tune what level of difficulty you want at that point. The only thing you're sacrificing at that point is Chivos, and I don't give a shit about Chivos.
And
So
your
it's neither
pride,
here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's I'll say this. I'm gonna probably blow through the end of 9 Souls, which is still great. And then I'm thinking about, because I don't think I have a lot that I'm planning on playing. Still Wakes the Deep. Is that what it's called? It's the
Some Japanese games, I think, right?
but that's the only game I really have lined up in June and even most of July. So I think I'm probably gonna dive back into Baldur's Gate 3, you bitch.
Oh.
So
I think you'd be like, I don't know what's
I'll
going
believe it
on.
when
on
I
that.
see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
all right, let's wrap this fucking show up.
The hot one's name is Shadowheart, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
It's not Shadowheart.
I am.
Isn't the
putting
literal hot one Karlak though?
Yeah.
Let me-
Yeah.
Let me finish this fucking show. Guys, thank you for listening. I know it's been a long one. Crispy, thank you for bringing your love and your passion of Destiny. I'm so happy that I'm finally seeing that game. I am actually genuinely interested in playing that game, and I'll keep you posted on how that's going.
Great. I actually do it because the new exotic class item quest is a 2-person quest, so I need help, please.
Oh, cool. Just farming for help. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. 4playernetwork.com is, of course, the website, but more importantly, you can find our community actively talking about video games on Discord at discord.gg/4player. We'd love to have you there. Stop by, make an account, say hello, introduce yourself in the introductions channel. Tell us what you're playing. We'd love to hear that stuff. And we'll be back next Tuesday night to record another episode, or maybe it'll be a game night. I don't fucking know. We do these things on Tuesday nights. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, be good to each other. Play video games. Good night.
Bye.
We fucking made it.
We survived.
Blah, 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 blah.
No, a long podcast. So you gonna tell us more about Planet Gibble Gobble or whatever the fuck that
Alona
was?
in YouTube chat says, if Nick likes the new Assassin's Creed combat but doesn't like Rise of the Ronin, I will lose it. I don't know how to
you know
tell
what?
this.
I'm already look. Some people have look.
I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is.
Some people have shit taste. It's fine.
Fuck off with that.
We
shit.
don't have to agree. But if there is a world where you prefer the melee combat in that game to Rise of the Ronin, then I mean, granted, there was a day where you were doing it completely wrong.
I don't think my problem with Rise of the Ronin has anything to do with the combat, though.
Well, there was that day where you were dodging all the stuff.
Well, yeah, I totally misunderstood how that fucking system worked, and I was very mad.
You forgot.
I was very mad. No. I was like, I can't get the parry timing down. And he said, which attacks are you parrying? And I was like, all the ones that aren't glowing red. And he's like, no, you're supposed to parry all the ones that are glowing red and only the ones that are glowing red. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Suddenly, it all makes so much sense.
But
and after I realized that changed really quick. You know what? I think that game is just it's overwhelming. It's not
Which
in
is
like
a weird thing to say about.
No, like menus and systems and I can't keep it all straight in my head. It's just too fucking much.
Yeah, that's just you play the game and
all
you don't keep putting it down and you push through all that stuff.
All the fedoras and the katanas.
Every video, every video game.
Ugly.
You just gotta play.
Too many numbers, too many menus, too much. Just too much. It's too much, man. It's too much.
I live in menus. I know.
I don't live in menus.
And I'm saying Rise of the Ronin is not that game. You can just play it like a Ninja Gaiden game, Nick. Just because the menu's there, don't mean you got to be up inside it. This coming from me, who likes being in the menu.
I installed it. I played it. I'm gonna maybe give it 1 or 2 more sessions before I decide whether or not I'm gonna put it down or not.
It'll never grab you if you dabble here and there. You're done. You're done. You need to commit like a whole week into it, or
I did, dude. I spent an entire weekend playing almost nothing but Rise of the Ronin.
How much did you actually play?
I've played 8 hours of the game at this point.
How much did you play in that weekend?
Probably 8 hours.
What was the most recent weekend where you spent all day doing the combat wrong? That was the weekend?
That was the weekend, yeah.
It's all right. Look, I said early on when I was talking on this podcast that this shit wasn't some remarkable game that deserved better scores than it got. This was a game you buy and sell.
I'm not saying you lied to me. I'm just saying I've played it.
But I thought for you this was easy points for your little Japanese list, and I'm just
this
surprised.
is not easy points. This is going to be a struggle for me if I get through.
This is such a chill, easy game though. It's dude, crazy to me.
My experience up until this point is that this game is the exact opposite of easy and chill. Like complete opposite. I was so stressed out for most of the time.
You finished a Neo game. This game is basic bitch shit. You've played so many open world games.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I think you and I are wired completely differently.
But like, you asked almost the other every people who are playing Rise of the Ronin. They're agreeing with me.
Okay, well then I'm not wired the same way as you guys.
Bitch stuff. It's not confusing. It's just.
What does that mean, Jaeger? Yeah, I was extremely stressed playing Neo, but I got through it. I beat that game.
Yeah, which means if
I've also beaten Sekiro.
Then like I just literally don't know what you're talking about.
I beat Neo. I beat Sekiro. My problems are not the same. The problems I'm having with Rise of the Ronin are not the same problems I was having with Neo.
You know what it is?
I'm struggling to keep all the systems straight, and I hate being in the menu system.
Like, keeps it real. I think those were games you wanted to be playing, and you don't want to be playing Rise of the Ronin, and that's
if I didn't want to be playing Rise of the Ronin, I wouldn't have gone out and bought it.
You buy a lot of things. I think it's because it's on that list.
No, I'm not worried about getting the 10 points, dude. You think I'm concerned about that? I'm not. I need 4 more points.
I think you don't want to be playing Rise of the Ronin. I think it doesn't so much have to do with that game. It's just the fact that sometimes there's other games that we'd rather be playing. We all do this with
Baldur's Gate 3 is one of them.
Well, that was uncalled for.
Damn. So
Just saying.
listen,
It was
if
just-
you're
it
gonna
was
be
just
playing, if you're gonna be playing Elden Ring next week, can I borrow Rise of the Ronin?
Is that next week?
I'm not going to be playing Elden Ring next week because apparently I have to play through most of the game before I can even play Erdtree.
Nick,
Fair Missoula?
do you know? Did you start a new game plus in Elden
Believe
Ring?
me, my wife is very, very, very up to date with Erdtree and what you have to do to play it.
How far in
So
the game do you have to be?
You have to be all the way up through. I don't know the boss fight names.
You have to beat
she's like-
Radahn,
it's
you have to beat Mog.
Yes.
So
Okay.
you for sure started a new
That's
game
not
plus.
that
I
far.
started a new game plus, and I am already
Radahn
through.
and
I'm already through the castle, the first castle you go through. I'm on the other side of it.
Stormvale.
Stormvale. I'm through Stormvale Castle, but that's as far as I've made it. in my new
Jager,
game
do
plus.
you remember? Jager, do you remember if I started a new game plus or not? I have no memory.
Because I can get to him in like.
You would
20
think I would have
minutes.
learned from my mistakes and have never clicked new game plus ever. I don't remember if I ever
Here's
even.
the problem,
took the
Jaeger. I
learning.
don't know what I'm doing. I'm basically going in blind. Although
Do you think
Robin can probably
Miyazaki
get
is
me there.
a Star Trek fan?
I don't have a copy of Elden Ring, so I can't check where my save is. Is there a way I can look at the save data without booting up the game and tell if I started a new game plus or not?
That's a good question.
So
Like,
my
I'm curious
question,
if I can just look at my save data on PlayStation and see.
I mean, my thing is that I've got a save from the end of New Game Plus. So
Hey, Chris,
can I actually access the content immediately?
Wait, say that again.
full art foil.
Oh, wow.
I have a
Agrias?
save from the very end of the
Yeah.
game when you choose your
Agrias
ending.
Oaks?
Yes. If you have that save, then you
Apparently
can.
Is
there's
that
all
a
kinds of
card game?
tactics cards.
You should be able to
Yeah.
go back and access.
What?
You, I
There's
mean,
like
you
all
have to go.
kinds
Card?
of characters.
You have to
from
go to a specific
tactics
place.
Is 5,000 a lot?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Oh, let's play a Final Fantasy card game. Oh my god.
It probably sucks.
Dawn Trail comes out soon too. Oh.
Oh yeah, Dawn Trail.
Like next
People are
month,
excited about
maybe?
that. Although isn't it more of a jaunt?
That's July
Dawn
2nd.
Trail? Like it's like a kid shit, right? Like it's not the world isn't ending. It's just kind of like a vacation or something. I thought I heard some shit about that.
Something about a lost civilization, and part of it is like you're helping them find a new king. I don't know what the deal. Not ready for Dawn Trail. My body.
Yeah,
is ready.
If I have a new game plus save, like if I started a new game plus,
But that's more stress. I
then
have to.
I
get
will
ready.
not be playing the Elden Ring DLC. But it's okay. It's a bunch of boss walls anyways, like 9 souls, so fuck Miyazaki.
Yeah. Souls games suck. I hate them.
No, I like them. I just hate boss
They're
walls.
They're so mean. I hate them. The thought of fighting Millennia is like.
She's optional though. Oh, but like having a full DLC of Millennia's does sound miserable.
Like, I mean, how is this not gonna have that? Like, how is this not gonna be that? Like,
It will
It's
be.
gonna be
that.
the.
They
It's gonna
all
be like
have
the
that.
Godskin Quadro.
yeah, what?
Yeah, I mean,
What?
probably
What?
There will be a
all the
giant snail
DLCs have
boss.
had.
I
All-
can't
all
handle
of
this.
the
I'm
worst-
going back to Destiny.
Yeah, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, I'm a little bitch.
Go back to Planet.
Going
Gimli.
back
of
to
being
my baby town frolics.
Speaking of being a bitch, I'm out. Don't forget to upload your audio. Bye.
Me too.
Wow.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye,
I
Chris.
can't believe he just fucking tagged onto that. That's so
That was very rude.
All right.
Inconsiderate.
Good night. Good
All right,
night,
good night.
guys.
All right. Good night, everyone.